And we are live. What's good, y'all? It's your man DL Saint. Welcome to I Really Want to Know podcast. How y'all feeling out there? I think I fixed the issue. Yeah, it looks like I was able to figure out the issues with the audio. And sorry, I had the screen up prematurely. My bad on that, y'all. Man, welcome. How y'all doing? Everything is good. On your end, I hope on this end, everything is everything still moving forward, still doing the thing. Still doing the thing. Uh, yeah, life. You know what I mean? Life is what we make it. It was a we call it a dub, but like a reggae song. I remember "Life Is What You Make It." I forget the name of the artist, but that's I'm gonna have to look that up. That was one of my go tos. I would listen to that joint. So what's good, y'all? Appreciate y'all coming through. Well, that's for Dr. B in the house, and also Cody is king up in this piece. What's good? Say we sounded good. Appreciate that, bro. Yeah, I had to do some stuff. You'd be surprised what you can do when you got to do it. You know what I mean? So yeah, man, we about to get into this, y'all. I saw some stuff on a YouTube content creator. I think her name is Patience Zena, something like that. We're gonna react to a video she put up. Her video is about the Passport Bros, but here's the thing: it's I think the Passport Bros are just out there. People they're just a big fat target, but it's not the it's a result, not the cause. You feel me? Like we're gonna get into that in a second. Um, so yeah, we got Sister Candace in the house. What's good, love? Always a pleasure to see you. Like, do the reggae sound bite. Oh, I got you, bro. Where did I put it? Where did I put it? Boom, I got it right here. And this, I ain't gonna lie to you. I wish I could play the whole thing. Yeah, boy. More fire. I wish I could play the whole thing, but we can't because of copyright. But that's right there. That brought a smile to my face. Good looking out, Dr. B. Appreciate that, bro. Appreciate that. More fire. That's right, man. More fire. Um, so yeah, I've been putting up a ton of shorts. I don't know if y'all noticed, but YouTube wants shorts, and that's what I've been doing. I've been going through all the content and just finding shorts and throwing them up there. And yeah, YouTube is definitely pushing it. Pushing the shorts because I was looking at the channel and I was looking at the content and I was comparing the views and all that to other content creators, big and small, like people way bigger than me, people smaller than me, people at my level, people in between. And it's like, man, like the numbers, like the views, I'm like, man, where are the views at? Like the algo just is not rocking with me. Started putting up shorts and then bam. You know what I mean? Like, oh, okay, they are really they're hitting shorts. So I'm like, okay. So I'm just gonna continue to go through and just cut up and put up shorts and just, I have yet to do a short when I just turn the camera on myself and start talking. I haven't figured out. I mean, I have seen how people are doing the captions on there, like the what do you call that stuff, man? The CC captions when they put up there and they have all the text are real big and different colors. That takes a lot of time. And I was looking at that, and I even had someone in the Fresh and Fit Patreon actually went and grabbed some of my content and put those, put the captions up there. Um, he did a real good job too, but that takes time. Like I'm looking at it, like the programs you need and all that. I'm like, bro, I'm not ready to do that quite yet. But I'm just gonna keep putting them up. There is an option when you do the shorts that you could just put just turn on, you know what I mean, you could just turn on the captions or whatever, and it's auto. You know what I mean? So the computer just translate what you said, but you can't make you can't change the fonts and all that kind of stuff. That takes a separate program and all this other stuff. So I don't know, maybe that's on the bottom of the list of my to-do list. That's on the very bottom, but I'm gonna keep putting the shorts out there. Um, Brother Knightish in the house. What's good, fam? Salute to you, brother Viking in the house. Supporting from the clouds, as always, we're Overwatch. That's Brother Viking, man. Viking Paradigm. We're gonna have Brother Viking on here, not tomorrow, but a week from tomorrow. We're gonna actually, do a full blown show. He jumped into he jumped in early this week when we were talking about the whole MGTOW thing. He kind of jumped in there, man, and just, boy, more fire for real. Shout out to you, man. So yeah, man, let's get into it, bro. Like, I'm just making things happen, man. But so this content that I stumbled across, Patience Zena, that's her name. I think she's out of the UK. A very attractive woman of color. And like, she's from Africa. I think she was born in Africa, but she grew up in the UK. She was talking about passport bros and how Western women are basically going after them. Like, they got all this to say about the passport bros. I thought the video was pretty good, but I don't want to just talk about the passport bros. I want to talk about why this is going on. And I thought this would be a good springboard for that, man. So we got about 4 different time hacks that we're gonna go over. It's a 15-minute video. We probably won't get through the whole video, but it was just a couple of things that I wanted to highlight and that we could talk about. But it all stems to where the sexual marketplace is, where the dating game is today, what's going on in this country, in the West, but in particular in America, what's going on today. And this video, I think this was the perfect learning tool. So, man, let's get into it. Let me pull this up. Definitely fair use. I actually reached out to her on Instagram. I definitely want to, I would love to interview this young woman. Very young. She seems very sharp. I know she's an artist. She sings. I haven't listened to her music, but on her Instagram, there's a link tree and all that. So I'm definitely going to look into that as well. I hope she gets back to me. I would love to interview this YouTuber. I'd love to hear her story. So, but her content is fire on YouTube. She seems to be, right down the middle, keeping it 100 on both sides. You know what I mean? She's holding everybody's feet to the fire. Gotta appreciate that. So let's check this out, man. What she has to say about the passport bros. We're gonna start about 1 minute and 46 seconds or so into this. So we're not starting from the very beginning. In the very beginning, it's just a lot of TikTok videos that she's reacting to and stuff like that. The first one we just skipped over because it was just a woman who said some negative stuff about passport bros, calling them predators. And it was a guy who was basically the opposite side of that. Like, oh, we're predators if we leave the country, but if we stay in the country, we're not predators. He made some good points, but it wasn't really relevant to what I wanted to talk about here. So we're gonna start a little bit in. So let's check this out.
Phenomenon of people finding partners in different countries is not new at all. And I think since the rise of the internet and online dating, this has been happening all the time. There's an entire show.
And right off the rip, what she said right there, this isn't new at all. She's absolutely right. This is nowhere near new. Guys, going abroad to find women been going on forever. People would leave their town, leave their village, leave their state, leave their cities to go and find someone to bring them back home. Back in the 80s, late 70s and into the 80s, dudes in Cincinnati were talking about the women in Atlanta. Oh, the sisters in Atlanta, man. It was a difference. I remember as a young guy going down there, as a very young dude, barely a teenager, going down to Atlanta, the way that the young girls treated me and young boys was way different than the treatment I got in Cincinnati. It's not to say it was bad in Cincinnati. It wasn't. But going down to Atlanta, when you sat down at the table, in the South in particular, not just Atlanta, the Carolinas, Virginia, Tennessee, Kentucky, but the further south you went, Georgia, Alabama, Mississippi, Florida, the better it seemed to be. Like, it was like the closer to their roots, the more feminine they were. And I'm talking about the women and the girls, and they were taught. So like, it's time for dinner. All the men would sit down, the boys would sit down, and the women and girls would serve the men and the boys, and then they would come sit down. No one would eat until the lady sat down. Then everyone would hold hands and pray. They bless the food, and then they would eat. And then when it was over, the women and the girls would take the stuff away, and the guys will go watch TV or go back outside and cut the grass and rake the leaves or paint the house or wherever it is the guys were doing. But there were definite roles, female roles, traditional roles, and male traditional roles, and it was taught on both sides. right? I was taught this to work. I mean, as far back as I can remember, man, I was, 9 years old, going to work with my uncle at his, body shop and learning how to work on the cars. And, they had me just doing, sweeping stuff up. My father would always have me out in the yard doing stuff and cleaning up. And I was always taught that. And then like my stepmom would cook and, you know what I mean? I saw that. I saw what a traditional, male female dynamic looked like as a kid. And then we went down to Atlanta, down to Georgia to visit family, and you would see it there big time. So yeah, people will always go out to find what they're looking for, or find some, significant others and bring them back home. Then I joined the military, it's the same thing. People talking about the passport bros going down to Colombia or going to Thailand, Philippines, Japan, Germany, whatever. Back in the 80s, the guys that I knew that were in the military, the guys who joined the military, when I was still a young teenager, they went off to the military, were all talking about Panama and Germany. All the Army guys were talking about Panama and Germany. All the Navy guys and Marines were talking about Japan and Spain. Right? So I remember the stories. And they're like, man, the women, this and that. And the thing was, we weren't really worried about the women, over there, because the women here were gorgeous. You go down to Georgia, go down to Freaknik, go down to Aggie Fest, go north to South Carolina. You know what I mean? Going down to Alabama. The women were popping. So dudes didn't really worry about going overseas. The military guys went overseas and got to see it up close and personal. They had a blast. Guys would go get assigned to Germany, be gone for 3 years, man, come back with a family. They were loving it. German women, beautiful, and we're into brothers. Same thing with Panama. It was a 3-year enlistment. Go down, it was a 3-year tour. Go down to Panama. It was like, man, it was crazy, the stories about Panama. Sound like the stories I hear about Colombia. And then when I actually went to Colombia, I was like, yeah, this is kind of what they was talking about. How feminine and beautiful and sexy and all that. You know what I mean? So, this isn't new, but men didn't go overseas in the 70s, in the 80s, in the 90s even. They didn't do it. That wasn't the thing. That's why this whole passport bros thing seems new to certain communities, because so many men are flocking to the post office to get their passports and get on planes and go. Right? And they're going to get into that, but this is like a newer thing. You know what I mean? Dr. B, ATL is very different now than back in the day. Absolutely. That's what I hear. The past few times I've been to Atlanta, yeah, man, it's all boss babe right there, man. It's very non-traditional. Atlanta's a big city. You know what I mean? They're doing big city things. Like if you get outside of Atlanta, maybe, you know what I'm saying? If you go to other parts of Georgia, maybe, you know what I mean? But even down like, Delville, Alabama, Dothan, Alabama, that's changed. You know what I mean? Fayetteville, North Carolina, that's changed. Like this whole, you know what I mean? Again, when Instagram hit, when technology did what it did, it really changed the game here in America. And this whole passport bros movement is a reaction to that change. We got Miss AKA in the house. What's good, love? Always a pleasure to see you. I'm glad you're here. So yeah, like Sister Patience was saying in the video, man, this is not new, but let's continue.
Show called 90 Day Fiance around this, about Americans, both men and women, finding partners from overseas or abroad and basically bringing them back to the US to marry them. It's been happening for a very, very long time. There's nothing remotely remarkable or new about this. And I find it really interesting because would they regard it as predatory if these non-Western women had moved to the West and then got into a relationship with a Western man? Would that be predatory then, or would that be perfectly fine? Because if they would argue that there's nothing wrong with a non-Western woman moving to a Western country and getting into a relationship, then why would it be predatory in the opposite direction? So is it the direction of the flight that determines whether or not it's predatory?
When you pay attention to the passport bros, like they're getting women from like the DR, Colombia,
Yes.
The Philippines, Thailand, like women that can speak very little English, women that don't have education, women that
need them. Women that need them. Women are raised to be wives. Mm-hmm. They learn everything from birth, from their father, from their mother, how to be a wife and how to support your man.
Women.
And now what I just said, that's what it was like in the South. That's what it was like in the Midwest. That's what it was. If you go back far enough, that's what it was like throughout the United States of America. But there's been a slow burn that has led us to this point. You know what I mean? And it's all communities. It's all cohorts, right? It's all bubbles. It's not just black folks saying this. You know what I mean? Latino women are still, Asian and Latino women are still real feminine. Like they're cool in their femininity. However, there are women out there who's gone to college and they've patriarchy drilled into their head. Patriarchy bad. Being a feminine woman is soft. I need to become the man I want to marry. So they do. And they end up alone. Right. I mean, it's just one of those things. Wonderful 34s in the house. What's good, fam? Always a pleasure to see you, bro. Thanks for coming through. Appreciate it. So let's continue.
And that need them.
It's not even women that need them. It's women that treat them with respect.
So we don't.
Y'all know y'all don't.
Stop yourself.
That's not true.
So we don't treat y'all with respect. She couldn't even say it. And this is another thing when I had these conversations with people, and it's not, a lot of people think that, it's just women. You had this conversation with men when they going to get big and push back. It's not just women, dudes push back too. Right. But I tell you who never pushes back when I had these conversations. It's the women who have husbands. They never push back. They're like, oh yeah, that sounds right to me. Well, they're like, listen, I don't think that all women are the way you describe them. I don't think all women are boss babes. They'll say this, like, I don't think that's all women, but yeah, if they are acting like that, then yeah, I'm pretty sure they're gonna have a hard time getting a man, because you can't keep a man acting like a man. This is what married women tell me all the time. Married women talk about this all the time. You know what I mean? It's not a fairy tale. It's another thing they tell you. It's not a fairy tale. There's no happily ever after. You got to work at it. Relationships are work, hard work. You know what I mean? It's nothing but sacrifice and compromise. It's tough. And we're dealing in a world where a lot of people don't want to put in the work. A lot of people don't want to be responsible for their actions. You got all this stuff going on. All this stuff. Yeah, Sister Candace will tell you big facts. She's married. She don't have a problem, addressing these issues. You know what I mean? It's like, man, these women out here tripping. If you're a fairly attractive woman and you've managed to keep yourself in shape for the most part, why is it you don't have a dude? Come on now. Why is it? Why is it you don't have a dude? So now you got to talk about hypergamy and all that kind of stuff. And, putting your relationship on the back burner and not having kids and all that on the back burner and chasing the bag. Okay, you could do that. But it is what it is. Lady Novo's in the house. What's good, love? Always good to see you. Always good to see you. But I mean, it is what it is. So we're going to continue. This little bit goes until another minute or so. Let's continue.
I mean, there's no need for that, right? There's no need to crap on women in other countries just to make yourself feel better about the reason why these men are choosing them over you. To assume that they speak very little English, to assume that they are uneducated, to assume that they're all of these things when you've never been.
And they say these women are uneducated, right? Now, y'all have all seen the videos, and I don't have to pull them up. I thought about pulling it up, but I really don't have to pull it up. But I could pull up the videos when they ask American men and women to name 3 states, that's on Fresh and Fit, name 3 countries, name 3 states. You can see that on Fresh and Fit, but there's a whole channel dedicated to that. These guys will go around to college campuses and big cities around America, asking very basic questions. Very, very basic questions. And they can't answer. I mean, one of the questions was, who was the first person to land on the sun? Who was the first person to land on the sun? Man, you got all kind of answers. And none of them were Neil Armstrong. It was like, boy, oh boy, they was naming all sorts of folks, trying to name Neil Armstrong. Like, and again, they kept stressing on the sun. Yeah, landing on the sun. Okay. You know what I mean? How many people can name the planets in the solar system? How many people know how many planets are in the solar system? And I count Pluto, by the way. I count Pluto as 9. But these basic questions, the one of the questions they asked was, who fought the Civil War? When you go to third world, when you go to other countries, when you go to these countries that the passport bros are going to, these women and the people in the country, they understand what's going on. They are educated. America ranks in like the bottom third in education around the world of developed nations, like we're way down there, man. I think I checked it not too long ago, like, I don't know, like 13, 15, 20, somewhere down in there. I forget. You know what I mean? But we're not number 1, 2, 3, 4. The top 3 only count. And there's no reason we shouldn't be. Americans don't know anything, but they'll tell you about social media. They'll tell you about, music. They'll tell you about all this other stuff. So it's not like we don't have the capacity to learn this stuff. But they can't tell you how many states make up the United States of America. They can't tell you. They can't tell you. Like, come on, man, it's 50. You know what I mean? Tarus said 8. What's good, brother Tarus? I think he's talking about where we're ranked in education, 8. And then there's a bunch of numbers. It depends on what numbers you look at. But I'll take it. Okay, 8. Why are we so far down the list at 8? So nah, man. Nah. When you go to these foreign countries, these women, not only do they speak their language, but they speak English and normally another, maybe 1 or 2 other languages on top of that. So, I mean, these women are well-rounded. I know I went on a bit of a tangent, but it kind of, you know what I mean? It gets under my skin too. Like, y'all don't even know what y'all talking about. Oh, you're talking about the planets. Truth's talking about the planets. No, the planets. We in the 20th in the education. Okay, cool. Man, look, Pluto was a planet in 1978, so it's still a planet now. Oh, those planetoid stuff and all that. I don't believe that Pluto came from the Kuiper Belt. It has an atmosphere. You know what I mean? Come on now. I whatever. I'm not a scientist. That's not my wheelhouse, but Pluto was a planet in 1978, so it's a planet today, goddammit. That's how I look at it. You know what I mean? That's how I look at it. But yeah, we're in the 20th in the 20s in education. That's shameful. That's shameful. Let's continue.
Been to these countries, you don't know how they live. Like, it's so ridiculous. Like, most places except for English speaking countries can speak multiple languages, English being one of them. This assumption that they wouldn't be able to speak English, I don't know why you'd assume that, considering English is taught in a lot of countries as a language that they have to.
And here's the thing, most Americans don't speak the Kings. We speak American. We don't speak English. We do not speak the Kings. Unlike this very elegant young woman who we're listening to right now. By the way, check her out. Like, she's very attractive. Not a ton of makeup. She has on makeup, obviously, but she's not wearing a ton of makeup. I don't see a lot of upgrades. Her hair looks natural. She's wearing baggy clothes, but she's fit. I've seen her in other videos. She's very conservative. This is the type of woman that I believe women should strive to be. This is the woman right here. You want a young woman like this. This is what you want. She doesn't have those big old Venus flytrap eyelashes things. She hasn't painted on her eyebrows. You know what I mean? She's not wearing like a just caked on makeup. In fact, I doubt if she has that much on. Maybe some eye stuff, and maybe some some lip gloss. What do you call that? Lip gloss. You know what I mean? Colorless. And she has good lighting. You know what I mean? Very neat room. Look at the background. Look at her room. It's very, very neat. Unlike these OnlyFans chicks, these women be talking crazy. You look in their background and see all kind of craziness. This is a very attractive woman. This is definitely what young men should be looking for. But let's continue.
To learn. So I don't know. It's just ignorance. It's just giving ignorance. It's giving ignorance.
This is a huge red flag. The only men who like to go overseas to find a partner is men who like to prey on vulnerable women.
Listen closely to the background, y'all. Y'all can hear her kids in the background. This woman on this little TikTok or whoever this woman is, bro, talking trash about men who going out looking for good women. Let's continue.
Because when you go find a wife in the Philippines or Thailand or Eastern Europe or wherever these places are that are overseas, I'm assuming you mean they're more biddable, that they're less outspoken, they don't demand anything of you, that they're just happy to be rescued from their poverty-stricken life of no opportunity. And in return, all they have to do is subject themselves to your advances. So I do wonder at your motivation for why you want to go overseas to find a partner. Is it because you prefer your woman biddable, without opinions, unable to fight back, and vulnerable? Because if that's the case, you know what that makes you, right?
I know what this video makes you. Bitter.
Bitter. Pip pip cheerio. Bitter. Oi. She's bloody bitter, mates. however the Brits talk, I don't know how they talk. You know what I mean? But I, you know what I mean. I like to watch Snatch, and that's how they be talking like that. Oi, bruv. But she got a good point. That woman was extremely bitter. Extremely bitter. Why? Again, the bottom 80% of men are virtually invisible to all women until they decide to leave. Right? Until they decide to leave. Now they got a problem with it. I don't understand. Let's catch up with the chats real quick. Sister Candace, you're absolutely right, love. Shame, insults, guilt, and the need to be right. Shout out to Kevin Samuels. The first time I ever heard it was when Kevin Samuels used to say it. Shout out to him. It's the need to be right is a big one, yo. That is a big one. Dr. B, oh, she mad she's not getting picked with her kids in the picture. Right. Brother Tarus, Western European women definitely keep their appearances high, but the mentality is still similar to the Americans. Bro, with the appearance, man, it depends. Because at least this is just anecdotal, but my experience, the time I spent in the UK, man, I don't know about that high appearance thing. I don't know about that. Maybe I was just there on the wrong weekend, but them women were trying to keep that. No, buddy. Nah, I didn't see that. Especially the UK. See, and that's where I differ with you. Nah, I didn't see that in the UK. I just did. Well, maybe they did keep their appearances up, but I just didn't find them attractive. Maybe that was it. Because in the UK, I didn't see a whole lot of dimes, bro. It's literally America and Europe. Let's see, Dr. B. Oh, she called it. Yeah, like this little shorty right here, man. Go over there and check her out, man. Patience Zena, man. Check her out on YouTube. She got some good content. You know what I mean? She got some good content. Cody is King 9. You know what I mean? And let's see, Sister Candace, they prefer their women not to have given their womb to be several other men, giving their womb to several other men. And Cody is King is like, nah, more like 9, more like 19. Miss Globe Girls in the house, my favorite sailors in the house. What's good, shorty? Oh man, get ready for the smoke now, man. We got Miss Globe Girl in the house, so y'all know what that means, right? You know what I mean? We ain't playing.
Yes, sir.
It's coming. Get your head down, bro. I saw you, Miss Globe Girl. I had my problems with my sound, with my equipment, so I couldn't jump on the stream. But I saw you in Black Man Unfiltered in the chat doing your thing. I was like so mad I couldn't get it. I couldn't get in there. Globalization has impacted all things, including dating. It's no big deal. The issue is the denigration of Western culture and the exchange of insults based on how we choose to live. Damn, good point. Good point, sis. Why even talk about a woman's womb and who she gives it to because a man chooses to go overseas for love? That's a good point. That's why I like it when you come to the chat, love. I mean, you know, I got love for all y'all, all my day ones. But man, Miss Globe Girl be bringing it. She be bringing it. The issue is the denigration of the Western culture and the exchange of insults based on how you choose to live. But that part about the denigration of Western culture, facts. We've come away from religion. You know, y'all know how I am about that. You know what I'm saying? I ain't religious, but I know the stories. And if you live by those stories, you'll be striving to live a good life. You know what I mean? I get that. I'm not opposed to it. You know what I mean? I'm currently now teaching my daughter those stories. You know what I mean? I might have to even pick a church and take her to church because I want her to be exposed to these stories. And then I can kind of guide her and tell her, okay, well, you heard the story of Noah, but let's really talk about what was going on. Or you heard the story about this. You know what I mean? You heard the story about Isaac, but let's really talk about this. Or Daniel in the lion's den. Let's talk about the treachery. Let's talk about, you know, how he almost got set up. Let's talk about loyalty. Let's talk about all this stuff, right? You know, like, yeah, you know, when you talk about Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego and how politics, you know, came into play and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, I think I'm gonna have to do that. Great point, though. Great point, Miss Globe Girl. Brother Tarus, the issue is that Western European men have been able to adopt and evolve while American men fight tooth and nail to not change a thing. I don't know if I agree with that, bro. I'm gonna drop the link because I definitely I'm hoping you can jump on. We can talk after we run through this video. But I don't know if I necessarily agree with that. It's not that American men are fighting tooth and nail not to change a thing. I think the bottom 80 are trying to do whatever they can to be seen by women. I don't. And again, here we go. So one of the fixes is this passport bros movement. So I don't know. I don't know. Cody's King, she sounds racist. Uh-oh, Cody and Miss Glow Girl about to go crazy. Last good man in Jersey, what's good, fam? How you feeling? Good to see you. Good to see you in Toulouse Evolve. So yeah, let's continue with the video. But man, I don't know about that last one, brother Toulouse. We're gonna talk about it, man. I'm gonna drop the link here in a little bit. Let's see. I just want to make sure we 452. All right, so we got some more to go here.
I find it extra triggering because I was born in Africa, and it's just so insulting because they have this superiority complex. They just assume that everyone in these countries lives like the charity adverts that they see on television. And it's just like, pull your head out of your ass, please. Okay? Western women are not the only ones who are educated, who are able to have their own opinions and speak their minds. But the one thing that these non-Western women do have that the Western women, according to these men, don't have is the ability to still have their own opinions, still be educated, while still maintaining the ability to be respectful, while still maintaining the ability to be cooperative with their partner. It seems as though, based on what these men are saying, they're saying that they find that these women are better wives. They're raised better to be a lot less, well, basically like that woman in that video. I mean, personally, if I was a man looking for a woman and that is all my country had to offer me, I would buy a one-way ticket as well. I mean, I'm sorry.
Did you hear that? Even this sister said it like, yo, that's all y'all got over there. I'll leave too. And again, this is not, man, I would say, I'm not talking about all women. When I had these conversations, a lot of people do catch me in the real world and they like start to get a little spicy, get fired with me. I'm like, look, I'm not talking about all women. I'm certainly not talking about the women who are married and make their marriages work. I'm not talking about them. I'm not talking about the women who are in long-term relationships and are happy. I'm not talking about the boss women who are out there who chase their bag and they're happy and they cool running out there smashing, doing their thing. They cool being that alpha. You know what I mean? I'm not talking about them. I'm talking about the women who play the game like they want to be that and lose, and then they turn around and get mad. I'm talking about the women who get to the point when they wake up one day and realize that they're not as attractive as they were when they were younger. You know what I mean? We're talking about the wall or whatever. When their options dwindle, and then they got a problem. Like, I'm talking about them. Like, you need to think about that before you get to that point. I'm talking about them. I'm talking about that woman who's a 5 or a 6, and she's had all these guys at her level trying to marry her and be with her and make her happy and make her, you know what I mean, just build a great family. And she didn't see those guys because she was chasing the Chads, the Tyrones, the Pookies, the Ray Rays. She got her back blown out. You know what I'm saying? Maybe she has a child, never been married. And now she's like, well, you got to take me and my child. You know, them dudes might not want to do that. And they still chase the top tier guys. I'm talking about them. You know what I mean? Let's continue.
Sorry, I don't mean to be rude, but the way she spoke about these women and their countries was so disrespectful and so out of line. And I just, can you blame the men for not wanting to come home to that every day after work? I personally don't.
Problem with passport bro.
And this one coming up right here. Yeah, I got to definitely check this out.
So I was thinking about this. Why do they care? Why do they care that men are going their own way and finding women in foreign countries? Why are they so upset? Why do they call them dusty and useless and then get mad that they're leaving? They don't want them, but they don't want them to leave. And why are they making these videos? To tell us how they don't care. And it finally struck me. The video is not for the passport boys. The videos are for their orbiters, the friend zone men. They want to make sure they don't get this idea in their head that they can go somewhere else, that there are other women available to them if they just leave the country. They need these men to stay in their orbit, to keep validating them. That is what they're terrified, is they will lose the influence they have amongst the few men who still put up with them.
I mean, that is an interesting theory.
Right there, dude drops some knowledge. And it's true. I really believe these women, they're upset because their safety net is leaving. They're not getting the validation. They're not getting the free attention like they were getting before. Why? These guys will go, they'll take a trip somewhere. We'll use Colombia as an example. They'll go down to Colombia, I'm here to tell you, or Brazil, or wherever they go, the Philippines, Thailand, doesn't matter where they go. They'll go down there and come back. They are spoiled. They don't look at women now, right? Because they've gone down there and they've gotten a taste of the top tier lifestyle. Then they come back to America and they're like, yeah, I know I make 50,000, 55,000, 60,000 a year, but I got a woman down there that's a dime that does all these things. And she understands me and this, that, and the third, right? Now, here's the thing. Yeah, there's a lot of game being played down there in Colombia. There's a lot of game being played in the Philippines, in Thailand, and so on and so forth. Yes. Fellas, you still need game. If you don't have game, you're going to get wrecked. You might enjoy getting wrecked more in Colombia than you do getting wrecked here in America, but you're going to be wrecked nonetheless. You're still going to lose money. You just won't lose as much. Right? And then when you realize that she really doesn't love you, it's still going to hurt. You know what I mean? So your game still has to be on point. But my point is, when these guys come back from these trips, they now don't see the women. They're not looking at a 5 or a 6 or even a 7. They're like, man, I ain't dealing with that. They're not looking at it. So they get a taste of that top tier life. And they're like, you know what? They're going to work even harder, make more money so they can spend more time down there. And don't let him get in a position where he got a work from home gig and he can work from down there. He can move down there. Yeah, he's just won his dating strategy. He won. He can go down there and get an average. He can go down there and get an average woman, which is a Colombian 6. That same one would come here and be like an 8, 9. He'll go down there and be happy. And you know what? He's coming. He's providing. He's doing his part. She'll cut off all the other dudes she was messing with because now she got someone that can really help her live the best life she could possibly live. He's got a good shot at it if he has game and he knows what he's doing. So I think that guy has a really good point. These women are mad because their safety nets are leaving. They're leaving. And yeah, so Patience has some points, and we're gonna hear what she has to say in a second, because I don't necessarily agree with her. I don't think she kind of sees what that brother was saying. But let's catch up with the chat. Miss AKA Lady at me. I know you're not religious, but church provides a lot of good structure for the kids. You don't have to be a fanatic, but there are a lot of solid lessons that are usable. I agree with you 100%. 100%. Miss Glowgrad Cody, she's like, okay. I agree with you 100%, Miss AKA Lady. I do. When you go to church, it comes with its own issues. I'm there I'll be there for the word. I'm there. I will be there for that. And I'm there to help me guide my daughter properly and prepare my daughter for the world as it is, not as it should be. But the problem with church is that it's full of sinners, and you have people that come in there and you got to get, you're almost forced to deal with their politics, or people come up wanting, hey, sign your daughter up for Sunday school. Hey, didn't see you at Vacation Bible School. And, I'm up front. I'm like, man, leave me alone with that, bro. I ain't coming to Vacation Bible School. I'm not here for y'all. You know what I mean? Like, I stay over there. I'm here for the word. Stay over there. And when my daughter gets to a point where she can understand, what's going on, then I'll take it. Right now, I think we need one more year before we're ready to go. But to church, but we're talking about the stuff now. So I agree with you, Miss AKA Lady. Dr. B, most women don't realize this until it's too late, right? And men are waking up. And he continues, they always want a backup option. Yeah, I would want a backup option too if I could get it. Brother Charuz, women don't care about the dudes going overseas. Again, trashing Western women in the process is what women are responding to. Bro, if they didn't care, why they talking about it? Why they talking about it? They do care. You know what I mean? And it's most of the dudes who are getting their passports and doing this thing, they ain't loud about it. They're being quiet. I'm not talking about the passport bros that you see on YouTube, saying whatever they saying and doing all that silliness. I'm not talking about them. I'm talking about the real guy, the real bottom 80 dude, that real dude who's out there making $40,000, $50,000, $60,000 a year, who gets a passport and he goes to, he goes to Colombia, to the outskirts of Medellin, to one of those smaller cities, and meets a really good woman. And he goes down there because he does have a little bit of game. I'm talking about those guys that have a strategy, that go down there and they win. The guys who go to Thailand, The guys who go to the Philippines. I'm talking about them dudes. They ain't out there going crazy and bragging about it. I'm not talking about the ones going down there just trying to smash either. I'm talking about the guys who are really looking for a wife. Those guys go and they find what they're looking for. And, you know, they win the game. Hopefully they win the game, especially if they stay there. You know what I mean? A lot of them bring their wives back and it works out for them, a lot of them. I wonder what the numbers are. You know, I wonder what the divorce rate is for mail order brides, for lack of a better term. I wonder what the divorce rate is for those guys who go to the Philippines, to Thailand, to Colombia, or whatever, get married and bring these women back. You know, women who aren't necessarily in the game. I wonder if it's still 50%, or I wonder if they're having, you know, a little better luck staying married. Cody is king. I'm gonna say KA lady. I'm sorry, Miss Globe girl. Correction. That was about women degrading women overseas and calling them victims. Oh, I'm far behind in the stream. Apparently my internet is trash right now. Oh, my bad, bro. My bad, bro. My bad. So there, yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense. Ms. Globe Greg, Cody's okay. That's me listening to DL trying to start something. That's right. That's right. I was trying to start something, Navy. You gonna finish it, Navy? You know how the airborne work. We gonna stir that pot. Miss AKA lady. Men need to also learn how to be better partners. How is promoting cheating, domination, emotional unavailability, etc. going to help men be more successful in relationships? I hear you, but here's the problem with that, Miss AKA lady. Here's the problem with that. We all know the good guys finish last. Men sit around and they watch these dudes that you're talking about right here, the cheaters, the guys who are like emotionally unavailable. The guys are out here doing the quote unquote bad things, right? They see that those guys are sought after. Women are beating each other up to get to these dudes. Women are going to jail for these type dudes in some cases, right? So they see that. So they're like, well, why am I being nice? Why am I being nice? The instant I get into a relationship, I get nice, I do everything, I put her on a pedestal and all that kind of stuff. She cheats on me, she leaves me, she takes half. This is what they're thinking about. So it's like, well, again, men are problem solvers. They're going to observe and see what's going on, and they're going to move accordingly. I agree with you. If you get a guy who really is like that, who's really a cheater, right? It's right. If he's wants to browbeat you and, like he's using, like turning your emotions on you or whatever, he's a manipulator. If you chose that dude, then that's on you, but don't choose that guy. But at the same time, you got to reward a guy's good behavior. If there's a good guy out there, women should reward them dudes, but they don't. They are rewarding the bad boys. Brother Charus, the issue is the issue is that it's still a fraud. Dudes go to poor countries so they can finally act like rappers in real life. Some dudes, we've talked about this before, bro. Some dudes, right? And these passport bros, this is brand new to them. These passport bros are going to these countries acting the way they act in their own hood, right? These are ghetto dudes that don't know any better. They don't know how to move. These same dudes getting robbed in places like Colombia will get robbed in Chicago. They'll get robbed in Cincinnati. They'll get robbed right here in Tampa, moving the way they move. So now I don't put that on passport bro stuff. They go down there and women are just more feminine. There's no getting around that, bro. There's no getting around it. Women are just more feminine. They take care of you. It is a different experience. And these guys go down there, they act the way they act. But I'm telling you, if these guys could get that type of woman here in America, they wouldn't leave. And here's the thing, they didn't leave. Back in the 70s, back in the 80s, no one left. The only guys that left, especially in this community, and the passport bros, now, we're talking about the black community because the black dudes are just now figuring it out. But the only black dudes I knew back in the day that had any kind of experience with foreign women were military guys, Army guys, Navy, Air Force, whatever. Them the only black dudes I knew that had some sort of experience with, foreign women. What does that tell us? That tells us that men were staying here in America. They didn't have passports. They barely went to other states, let alone a whole nother country. So the fact that these guys are leaving en masse tells us there's a problem, bro. And Brother Charus continues, that's why the con falls apart when they marry and bring them back. Now, the con doesn't necessarily fall apart. Bro, you married a woman from a different country. Was that a con? No. If a guy has the kind of knowledge and understanding of the game that you do, these guys will be just fine going to whatever country and meeting a good woman because they'll be able to weed them out. You know what I mean? A lot of these guys don't have that skill. We call it game. If you have game, you should be all right. And it really doesn't matter. I mean, because you get married in America, what? It's 50-50 chance it's going to fail. So why not give it a shot from somewhere else? It's going to fail. If you're thinking like, hey, this might fail anyway. So now, man, I don't agree at all with your take on that, bro. D-Mac, say that again, bro. You know what I mean? So I wouldn't be surprised if the mail order brides have a higher percentage of staying married than the others. True. Yeah, I bet you they do stay married. D-Mac, I have several friends that's married overseas women. They are going on 10 and the other 15 years. Yes, it's like some cultures, women, like they want to get married. They don't want to get married for a wedding day. They want to get married because they want to live that life. They want to raise kids. They want to take care of their man. They want to take care of their family. I don't see nothing wrong with it. Miss AKA lady, I'm 1,000% certain men would respond to if American women got online in droves and said, American men are trash. We need better. People respond when attacked. That's life. I mean, women do go online and say men are trash. I mean, women have been doing that since feminism got big. We don't need men. Men are trash. Men are worthless. You know what I mean? Delete all baby boys. Come on now, love. They've been saying that for a long, long time. Been saying that a lot longer than they've been saying this passport bros thing. You know what I mean? So, Miss Globe Girl DL, did you see that dude who got stuck in DR begging for money to buy a ticket on TikTok to return to the U.S.? He ran out of money. I didn't see that, but I've seen that in real life. I was in one of my trips to Colombia. There was a guy who was down there from Chicago. We didn't know him, but he wound up just hanging out with us. And that dude ran out of money. Luckily, he had a round trip ticket. He was trying to borrow money to get to the airport. You know what I mean? But he ran out of money. I think he paid for all his stuff up front, and then like his play money, he didn't manage it right. That sort of stuff happens all the time. All the time. And then when you try to get money to get home, people think it's a scam and they won't send you money. But yeah, that's on them. That's how good it is though, sis. Think about that. They are gonna risk it. They're like, man, I'll be there, I'll be stuck, I don't care. And if the dude had game, he wouldn't have gone through all his money. He could have went down there and found himself a good woman. She would have stayed with him the whole trip in the hotel room, but he was trying to keep up with us, and that's where we're wrong. D-Mac, too many of my good friends got divorced from their American wives, and they are taken to the cleaners. Yep. Say that again, bro. Yep. I mean, it's real talk, Sister Candace. I'm gonna catch up with the chats, and then we're gonna finish up the video. We're almost done, and then I'm gonna drop the link because I definitely want to hear y'all opinions on this. Let's see, Sister Candace. It sounds to me like passport bros are being attacked in the same way as those who close to date out. Oh, I'm sorry, who chose to date out. Warriors, some allowed their preference and others are not. That is a good point. If your preference aligns with what most women want, I guess, or the women who are making the most noise wants, they'll let it ride. If your preference is, big women, you know what I mean, rude, crass women, women who got high body counts or whatever, then all right, you cool. But if you want anything other than what mainstream is pushing, then they got a problem with you. Brother Trues, I agree, bro, but the average passport bro isn't going there with enough knowledge. They are being easily finessed. That's what it's a failure that's why it's a failure most of the time. Again, I put that on them dudes, and this passport bros thing is fairly new. Up until the passport bros things, the guys who were traveling, these dudes were worldly. People like me, Tarus, Tobias the Traveler. You know what I mean? The guys who know how to travel were doing what they were doing. It was their dating strategy and it worked. Now the floodgates of opening. You got these guys who are coming down there and they are changing, right? They're changing these places. Look at Brazil, look at Colombia right now. These guys are flooding down there, not knowing what they're doing, and they're changing it up. They're messing it up for everybody, to be honest with you, because they won't take the time to understand what it really is. You shouldn't be, in my opinion, you shouldn't be going over there just trying to smash. You should also learn the culture. I love the culture. I love the Latin culture. I love the dance. I love the food, right? So I especially love the women. So when I take a trip, I'm not just doing what these guys are doing. I'm actually checking out what's going on, right? I'm going to see the sites. I'm going to the museums, right? I'm talking to people. I'm getting to know folks. That's what I'm doing. But again, I know how to travel. You know what I mean? Cody is King, Facts, Jerus is a passport, bro. Ha. Fire. You know what I mean? Miss AKA lady. Women did the same thing. A lot of women movements were results of past trauma. Yep. Bleeding on someone who didn't cut you is a mental issue. That's for both sides. Yep. Retaliation don't help nobody. Yep. I can see that. You know what I mean? Brother True said, Cody, I don't want to lead the passport bros. That's way too much work. Yeah, them boys, they need help. Some of them they do need help. And here's the thing though, their access is limited because they don't make a lot of money. We're coming into this recession. So the passport bros, you know, they're going to kind of dwindle in number over the next year and a half because this recession is about to hit. You know, we're going to go through this little thing, but on the other side of this, they're going to really start traveling because they'll go out, they'll work 2 extra jobs so they can go down there and get to that beautiful Mamacita they left down there in Medellin or wherever. Miss Globe Girl, the only thing it tells me is men today have better access to overseas than men in the 70s and 80s. Access to the global market has changed, not people. I mean, that's a good point there, but I mean, Mexico is not hard to get to, and it hasn't been hard to get to ever. You know what I mean? So, I mean, you ain't got to go as far as Central America. You just go right across the border. Like you shoot right over to Mexico. The dollar's always been stronger than peso, and that was the case back in the 70s, and it was easier to cross the border. You know what I mean? So, I don't know. I hear what you're saying, and I'm with you 75%. I'm with you 75%. I think that men simply didn't look to go overseas because they were happy with their dating options here in America. Remember, prior to technology, prior to Instagram, prior to social media, women were kind of stuck in the regions that they were in. You feel me? And it's not just men who have access to the rest of the world. Women have access to the rest of the world. So you have wealthy men flying women all over the planet. So the bottom tier guys are like, well, I could get up enough money and take a trip to Brazil, take a trip to Argentina, take a trip to Paraguay, or take a trip to Colombia and see what it's. I mean, shit, they could just go to Puerto Rico. They ain't just go to Aruba. These trips aren't very expensive, and they weren't expensive back in the 70s and 80s. So the more I think about it, the less I agree with you, love. The less I agree with you on that. Last good man in Jersey, only a small percent of people are passport bros, and only a small percentage of women care. The internet is magnifying AP. I agree with you there, bro. Facts. But it is triggering a conversation about possibilities. I agree with you there. Last good man in Jersey, I agree with you, bro. Miss AKA lady, you asked why will women go online and talk about passport bros? They are responding that's normal. Possibly. But I mean, I don't know. I mean, the passport bros movement, like it's kind of like MGTOW. We did the show on MGTOW, same thing. Men going their own way is an option. It's a reaction to the dating marketplace. The same thing with passport bros. It's an option, right? It is a workaround or a fix, right, to the current dating marketplace. That's what it is. That's what it is. So let me get back. I'm not going to be able to read everything. I appreciate all the comments. I'm going to show all the comments, but let me get back to the video.
I don't personally think that they are saying the things that they're saying because they are trying to get the men in their friend zone to not get this idea. Because typically if a guy's in the friend zone, it's because she's not attracted to him. That's the only way a man ends up in the friend zone is if the woman is not attracted to him. And unless
facts. And that guy, historically, that guy will be happy to be in the friend zone. He will be happy to sit back and wait for something to happen. At some point, that alpha Chad, that Tyrone or whatever is gonna get caught cheating, and she's gonna come cry on my shoulder, and I'm gonna get an opportunity to get it in. Just that's his strategy. I'm gonna sit here in the friendship zone timeout until something bad happens to her, and then she's gonna come to me. She's gonna be vulnerable. Give her a couple glasses of wine, and then I'm gonna smash. That's what these guys are thinking.
Unless something suddenly changes that makes him more attractive, he's likely going to remain in that friend zone. But I think that the reason why the women are doing this is because as much as they want to pretend they don't care, and as much as they want to pretend that they think that these men are beneath them, and therefore that's why they're going to women who they deem as beneath them. And I can only assume that these women think that non-Western women are inferior, considering so far they've called them poverty-stricken, uneducated, and desperate for opportunities. So
she has a good point there, and it's not that they're just beating up on the men, but look, they're attacking these women from these other countries. I had the host of the Purple Pill podcast on here, and he made the same statement. He was saying that passport bros are just sex tourists and this, that, and the third. And he's saying all this negative stuff about these passport bros. And I sat there and I asked him, I think I'm gonna make this I might make it a short. I'm just gonna go back and find it. I said, hey man, because I was like, well, if you were talking to an American man, a brother who's having trouble meeting with women, where would you take him in to meet women? Like, I'll take him to Hooters. We can meet my friends. I was laughing at him. Like, bro, that's the absolute worst place you want to take some dude. Hooters? And then you want to talk about a finesse. That dude's gonna get finesse out of his mind. He's gonna lose everything. He won't get so much as a pat on the cheek. At least if he goes down to Colombia somewhere in Mexico, he gonna smash. Probably gets finesse. But I was like, but here's the thing. You're saying sex tourism. You're saying that these men from the West are going down there taking advantage of these women just so they can, get the Foxy Brown. Here's the thing. There are wealthy men from all over the world who come to America for that. Right? They come. I told this guy that. I said, look, bro, there's some dude from the UAE or some guy from Japan or China or some oligarch from Russia who comes to Texas and goes to your Hooters where your female friends are, and he offers to pay her rent for the next 3 months. And all she has to do is hang out with him over the weekend. And guess what? She's going to take that money. She's going to hang out with him, and he going to smash. It's all relative. And he sat there and he thought about it. I'm like, you think for a moment that dudes aren't coming to America and running the finesse on these women? Money don't mean nothing to a dude who's worth $500 million. You know what I'm saying? What's 10,000? Here go $10,000. You go to Hooters, or you go to the Tilted Kilt, or you go to whatever you name the restaurant, and there's this beautiful server there, and you can tell she's sad and she's working hard. And it's like, oh, what's the matter with you? Right? You have a good conversation because you're a suave gentleman, and she tells you how, she's barely have enough to cover her rent and this and that and da 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 da. And she's not even trying to get money. She's just trying to talk because she doesn't have anyone to talk to because she's working double shifts and all this other kind of stuff, right? And that guy's like, yo, I can give you $10,000 left because you're so cool. Let me give you a $10,000 tip. Like, here's the money. You're so cool. And by the way, there's an event that I'm going to tomorrow. Would you like to join me? Right? It's a red carpet event for whatever. What do you think she's going to do? She's going to take the 10 grand. She's going to say, yes, I want to go to the event. He's going to take her shopping to get her a nice dress so she looks good at the event because that's why he has her there. Like, that's going to be his accessory because she's beautiful, right? He's already hit it off. Like, he's already talked to her pretty good. Take her to dinner, take her to the event, take her by the hotel, like probably had a nice start at his, his penthouse suite at whatever hotel. She shows up there before the night even starts. Like, oh, come up for a second. Let me finish getting ready. She sees this is your hotel room? Like, yeah, I couldn't get the one I normally get. There was some sort of glitch, so they gave me this one. But come on, let's go, love. At the end of the night, she's gonna come right back to that hotel suite, and you know what she's gonna do, and that's fine, right? So it's the same thing. You talk about American dudes going down there finessing, you know what I mean? Nah, because dudes come from all over the country coming to America and do the same thing. It's all relative. So no, I don't have a problem with that. You know what I mean? Let's see. Let's jump to the final. This the final timestamp I wanted to jump ahead to. We're almost there. Here it is right here. So let's continue with this.
Market. Women often use shame to try and manipulate the sexual market because in order for them to be successful at finding a partner, sometimes you might need to, cheat a little bit. And so that's when shame comes into play. You'll see this all the time happening with other situations. So for example, there are women who get very upset with older men who are not attracted to older women. They'll shame them and call them predators. It's always predators. That's always the go-to. They'll call them predators, etc. Now, while personally, I also think that people are better off dating within their own age range, I don't think it's predatory for a young adult woman to consent to a relationship with an older man. To imply that it's predatory is a bit of an overreach. But of course, the women who typically do.
And there it is right there. She even agrees that to imply it's predatory is a bit of a reach. And I love that point she made about shame. Right? Because women do that all the time. Shame. Shame on you for not wanting me. Shame on you for not allowing me to benefit from your clout, from your finances, from your, provisioning. Shame on you for not being into, women who are 5s and 6s. Shame on you for only wanting dimes. Shame, 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 shame. And it's crazy, bro.
Do this shaming are typically older women themselves. They shame the older men for dating the younger women. And they do this because if the older men are going after the younger women, then they're not going after them. And that's a problem because they also want partners as well. This happens a lot with Leonardo DiCaprio. Leonardo DiCaprio is constantly being like shamed for dating like 20-something-year-old models and stuff. And I remember seeing someone on Twitter tweeted something like, it's interesting how these women will say that these women are too young to date Leonardo DiCaprio, but they wouldn't say anything if these same women decided to open an OnlyFans. So they think they're old enough to have an OnlyFans, but not old enough to consent to a relationship with an older guy. It makes perfect sense why that double standard exists. Because if a woman chooses to go on OnlyFans, she becomes no threat to them if she chooses to go on OnlyFans. Because as I said,
no threat. So yeah, girl, go ahead. Ruin your sexual market value. Go on to OnlyFans, girl. You a queen. You do you. Same with you big girls over there. Be big. Love your curves. Don't go on a diet. You know what I mean? Don't work out. Stay big. Why? Because now I ain't got to worry about y'all. Now I ain't got to worry about y'all. Especially those women who are approaching the wall. They're like, man, I got to thin out this herd. I got to put myself on top somehow. I agree 100% with what you just said. Brother Truce, I see you. I'm going to bring you up in a second.
In my last video, most guys don't want to date a woman who's been on OnlyFans or who is currently on OnlyFans, but they have a lot more of an interest in shaming the older guys dating younger women because that does impact them because it reduces their dating pool options if some of the men who would typically be in their dating pool are choosing to go to other women instead. And that is all we're seeing here. Again, we're just seeing another example of women using shame to try and manipulate the sexual marketplace. They're seeing that the men in their home countries would prefer to be with women from other parts of the world than them. And that's a problem because if you've got men from your country flying and jetting off to other places, that means your dating pool is fleeing. So of course you have to step in, and what do? Shame. You shame them, you call them predatory for doing it, you call them all sorts of names, and in hopes that they won't do it. But as we know, this kind of behavior isn't going to be very effective. Just like we've learned that we can't shame men into finding bigger women attractive, and we can't shame men into finding older women attractive, we also can't shame men finding non-traditional Western women attractive. There are some men who don't want traditional women, who want the more modern Western woman, and that's fine. Those are the guys that will more than happily date you. But there are a lot of men who do like traditional women. They like women who are happy to embrace femininity, who are more agreeable, cooperative, who are a lot more traditional in the sense that they want to have families, they want to have children, they're a lot more family orientated. These seem to be, from what I've seen, the biggest drives in what makes these men want to go abroad. They're very traditional men and they want to be with a traditional woman.
And I'll leave it right there. She goes on a little bit about that. I'll leave it right there. And again, I think it's not just that, but I think that is the driving force, what she just said right there about these men wanting traditional women. Brother Charus, what's good, man? I'm gonna read a couple chats and then I'm gonna turn the floor over to you, man. But before I do, man, always a pleasure to see you, bro. How you feeling, man?
Hey, man, good seeing you, bro. I am finally not stressed out.
Oh, that's good. That's good because I got all that stress. It's like you alley-oop that stress to me, bro. I got all that stress down here now. So hey, it is what it is. We'll talk about that in a little bit. So there's a couple chats I highlighted I wanted to put up real quick, guys. Sister Candace, I heard a stat that only 4% of arranged marriages end in divorce. Is the lack of family involvement in the Western relationships to blame for our divorce rate? Ah, man, that's a good question. I do have some comments on that. In a nutshell, yes. I mean, we're Sodom and Gomorrah now. I mean, people, like I said, I'm a heathen, but I understand the lessons and I learn from church. People don't even care right now. They just do what I say, especially with women. They talk about toxic masculinity, but I think that, toxic femininity, toxic feminism, I think is more of a problem than the masculine thing. That's my take on it, though. And Sister Candace continues, if the sex was consensual, who cares what the intentions are of these men? Exactly. It's all a game. I feel you there. And D-Mac, bro, they don't understand the level of game you give them. I appreciate that, bro. I hope they learn it. I'm trying, man. Like I say, I'm just an old man. I don't know much, bro. I'm just an old man sitting in his attic talking to a computer. That's how I get down, man. But Brother Tarus, I know you love this topic. I know you love this topic. So,
man,
I'm
Passport
gonna
Bro's
let
been
you
taking
rock.
some L's in the media, bro. Oof. I've been seeing them while I've been focused on my project, boy. Oof. Ain't been too hot for them. It's the Passport. My DL, once again, thank you for inviting me on your platform. It's good to see you, bro. I unfortunately have a very bad habit. I have a very one-track focused mind. Like I can't multitask. So if I'm involved in something I really got to do, I go 0 dark 30. You know what I mean? So my bad for disappearing. For the Passport Bros, guys, can you just at the very least, if you want me to talk to you like grown men, can you at least pick countries that you're actually interested in learning about? Can you not choose these countries based on how far your dollar's gonna go? Can we at least get past that point? Because when you're going there with pure economic virtues or values first, you are inherently a sex tourist trying to convince yourself and that woman otherwise. You keep saying you're going there for love, yet your wallet is the thing leading your decision.
Well, here's the thing.
It's the thing choosing which country you're eligible to go to. That's crazy. I don't know how you sustain that.
Here's my pushback to that. And this is kind of, I'm just kind of gonna kind of echo what Brother D-Mac is saying in the chat. I traveled all my life. Passport Brothers are operating on a low level budget. They are making so many rookie mistakes. And I will add to that, they don't know any better. So to answer your question, these dudes are doing what they were told or what they heard, right? And why are they doing it? It's a cheat code, right? No one wants to put in the work anymore. These guys are like, man, dudes are like, man, I was in Bogota and look, this is the woman I met. Or I was in the Philippines and look at me hanging out. Look at me at this party. And they're like, man, this dude make less than I do. I'm gonna go to Bogota because that's all they know. That's all they know. And we're talking about a country in America where, come on, y'all, we know we don't value education in America. Let's keep it 100. You know what I mean? Let's keep it 100.
But even though all of that is true, what's also true is that that's still not a cheat code. Because again, if you don't know anything about the country you're going to and the thing that's leading you is your wallet, you are the first one to get finessed. You're the first one to take the L. You're the mark.
I agree. They're going to get wrecked. But guess what?
You know what I mean?
They're getting wrecked right here in America too, aren't they? They're getting wrecked. Why? Because they're leading with their wallet in America. Right?
Okay, but okay, so here's my question then, DL. Who even told them this was a cheat code? That's what I want to know. Who told them that going overseas was a cheat code?
Their buddy that works with them at In-N-Out Burger. That's their second job, right? They both got primary jobs. They both work at In-N-Out. They buddy went to In-N-Out with working at In-N-Out. Like, bro, I was down here in Bogota and look at the women I was with. The cheat code. What? You pulled that? What? How much was the ticket? Oh man, I got my round trip ticket for like $500. You know, the dollar's strong down there, man. So I got my hotel. It only cost me $200 for the whole weekend. I could have got it cheaper. You know what I mean? 2 meals is included with that hotel room, right? I went out and had me a Hennessy, man. Only cost me, like $4, the equivalent for one Hennessy. That's the cheat code. And I pulled these girls. Cheat. That's all he needs to hear. That's all. So he's sitting there like, hey, take me off the schedule for the next 2 weeks. I'm finna go down to Bogota. You know what I mean? That's where it comes from. It's a cheat code to them because they don't have any other point of reference. They have no game. If the dudes had a little game, he'd be able to pull something in America. Right?
I feel like this is my fault because I ain't been on this space in years. I should have been on this space telling you dudes or telling these guys, it's not a cheat code, bro. It's just different. Can I give you an example, Dio?
Yeah, go ahead.
And this hits to the video. So my wife is German, right?
Was ist
That is a functioning society, a functioning government, right? So Western society. When men ask me about the women over there, I'd be like, yeah, their appearance is good, they fine and everything. However, when it comes to the dating relationship, what screws up a lot of American men is that American men have a value attached to their wallet. The women in Germany don't need you for anything. So if they're interested in you. And some of you guys don't know who you are past the financial image of whoever you pretending to be. Right. And so a lot of these dudes still go to Western European countries and fail because even though they're not worried, they don't have to be worried about their finances. The problems just got reversed. Now you actually got to show your character. Like, hey, if you say you're gonna be somewhere in Europe, you be somewhere. Like if you ask somebody how you're doing, like people don't even understand the small cultural differences. Like, bro, nobody walks around in Europe, hey, what's up? Hey, how you doing? Good morning. They don't do that shit. They look at you weird. If you ask somebody how you doing, they're going to assume that you're actually asking them how they're doing. Fine, how are you is not going to cut it. But people don't even get past that. You get what I mean? And so you go over there with this freaking image, this frat boy image, and then you screw it up for everybody who is there for the right reasons. You know what I mean?
I hear you, but we can make that argument for, traveling anywhere. You know what I mean? Not just the passport bros, not just this. I mean, that's just Americans being stupid Americans, right? Brother Doug's.
But you can't do it for just everywhere because again, related to the video, there's a reason why these dudes are avoiding even Western European countries, right? They're not going to Western Europe either. They're going to Eastern Europe and they're increasingly complaining about that. And this is why when you had that comment by Candace talking about arranged marriage, Candace, can you please be careful about statistics? Because need I remind you that some of these surveys are being accumulated from countries where they still do honor killings, and that's legal, where the woman will get caned or stoned to death. That's legal. Those are the countries where arranged marriages are damn near obligated. Please be careful with the statistics we throw around.
Right, but there are some other cultures who still play like the Indian culture and the Pakistani culture. I mean, it's not forced upon, but it's frowned upon if you don't marry.
That country has the highest rate of sexual assault in the world,
dude. But I mean, I hear what you're saying, but and then also there are a lot of cultures, like when you look at the Eastern cultures, that will frown upon you if the family doesn't approve of the person that you are courting. You know what I mean? So I hear what you're saying. Yeah, I've been in that part of the world. I've seen people having to go deal with that. They didn't want us to go actually see it, but you know what I mean? In Riyadh, Rafah, outside of Rafah, you can see people getting, you know what I'm saying? But that was back in the 90s. Even that's changed a lot. I hear what you're saying, but we got to work with something. Brother Doug's in the house, man. What's good, fam? I see you. But to your point, why aren't guys going to Western Europe? Because they don't know anyone who's been, right? They don't have that buddy. Their buddy that was dropping fries with them at the restaurant ain't never been to Western Europe. You know what I mean? A lot of these guys ain't been to Eastern Europe because they don't know about it. I can't wait to get to Spain. You know what I mean? I can't wait to go to France. I want to go to Paris. There's some things I want to do. I want to go to the beaches of Normandy and walk my way in and see how the Americans had to push their way in from Normandy Beach on D-Day. There's some places like Saint-Mary-Glise I want to go.
If you're an American who doesn't speak French, if you travel anywhere outside of Paris, it is going to be a rough time.
then I'm
because
ready for it.
people go out of their way to not learn English in France.
And here's the thing: people go out of their way in America not to learn Spanish, and in Italian, and Polish, and it goes on and on and on. And here's the thing: it depends on the individual. I've been places where people tell me, "Don't go here. The people are bad." I get there. I treat people the way I want to be treated. Had the blast. People invite me to their homes. I'm meeting their family. It boils down to the individual and how you travel. You feel me? But and again, to your point, why aren't they going to some of these places? Because no one told them to go. You know what I mean? And that's why. I mean, that's the answer to your question. You know what I mean? Like,
or
going
people
through,
told them not to go.
Or people told them not to go.
That's what I'm saying. Like Western Europe. That's what I was trying to say in the chat. Like Western Europe, other than some cultural differences, it's still Western society, just like America. It's just America with a different language. Like the women still have a high ass standard. You know what I mean? You know that. And like UK is just America across the pond.
I don't even know why those women have high standards, bro.
And so these guys are choosing countries in South America. They choosing countries, right? Like, oh, my homeboys that was stationed in Korea, what they call them, guys? What in chat? If you've been to Southeast Asia, what they call them for? Juicy girls. Dudes would be bringing back these. They call them juicy girls, right? And these women, you know what I mean?
Here's the thing.
I take care of you. I act like a little. You know what I mean?
I mean, you had that over there, right? Like I didn't deal with juicy girls in Korea, but while I was in Korea, I learned a little bit of lingo. I can, you know what I mean? I can yobo say yo with the best of them. You know what I mean? When I was over there, I took the time to learn a little bit. I can go in and ask for a discount on my food. You know what I mean? I was sitting there or wherever I am, I'm talking to the guy. You know what I mean? Adashi gaga chuseo. You know what I mean? No more pisa gaga chuseo, which is like that's too expensive. Cut it. Give me a discount. And guess what? They'll give me stuff for free. Because I knew that little bit of Korean.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And that's what I'm saying, dear. How many dudes won't even bother doing that, though?
Most of the dudes in my unit. You know what I mean? I was the only one over there.
That's the problem. Like, these passport bros are I think they're well-intentioned. You know what I mean? Again, I keep on giving these guys ground, DL. These guys are well-intentioned. It's like, yo, first off, this wouldn't be a problem if they weren't trashing women in the process. And I think this is what the passport bros don't understand.
Let me jump in right there.
Okay.
The passport bros aren't the ones trashing the women. They're not. It's a couple of them saying whatever. No. But here's the thing. We're talking about what we see. And I think it was brother D Mac that said it. And shout out to D Mac for the $10 super chat, man. I appreciate that, bro. Thank you so much. You know what I mean? I traveled the world. Not speaking a language should never stop you from traveling. Real talk, especially with these now. I didn't have one of these, by the way, when I started my travels. You know what I mean? I had
just to respect. I learned some lingo. You know what I mean?
I learned some lingo. Yeah. But the thing is this. I would argue there are more women trashing men than men trashing women with respect to this, right? And I would let's take it a step further back. Again, why are the guys taking such drastic measures? Because they're not getting any play. Zero. And you're like, well, like I was probably say what you're thinking. Well, they ain't got any game. You know what I'm saying? If you ain't got no game, you shouldn't get any play. They're like, okay, fine. I'm going to go over here where Mike went, right, with this little bit of money, and I'm going to get on a dime. And that's why I call it a cheat code. But they're doing it because they can't get the respect, and they can't get, not from a top-tier woman, not from a top-tier, I mean top-tier in beauty, not from a 10 or a 9 or an 8. They can't get a woman who's a 5 or a 4 to sit down and talk to him. I've had guys, man, he's like, man, I was going to go out with this woman. She was a little bit overweight or whatever, but I mean, she wasn't ugly, but she really wasn't cute, but she seemed to be pretty nice. I asked to take her out for coffee, and she went off on me. Cause like, just hey, let's go have a coffee and talk, man. She went off, man. She wanted to go out, right? And then if a woman who's not attractive doing that, what are the dimes doing? You feel me? Like, they're so used to guys acting a certain way, which was traditionally masculine, but they don't want to hold up their traditional feminine roles. And I think these guys they're coming away from it. That's how I look at it, bro.
So the women wouldn't even be aware of passport bros if they weren't loud on their way out. You get what I mean? Like, the reason why we know about passport bros is because they run in their mouths on the way out. That's what women are responding to, right? These women, in theory, let's say logically, I think like a passport, bro. And I'm like, damn, man, these women in my country, I can't bag any of them. That automatically means there's not a woman that I'm living rent free in their head. So the only way they know about me going to another country is if I'm running my mouth on social media, telling them about where I'm going and why these women ain't shit, ain't that, why these women in this country better. That's what the women are responding to. It would be like the equivalent of every time I drive by your house, I say some nasty shit about you and your lawn. And you're acting like if you responding back would somehow make you in the wrong. You would absolutely defend yourself, right?
I'm not gonna push back, and it's kind of Miss AKA lady said that tonight. She was like, "Is people, it's people that are reacting to others, right? And like the whole 'don't bleed on me' thing, I ain't cut you" kind of thing. Here's the thing: I hear you. That's we could chalk that up to immaturity on both sides. Because again, if I'm playing devil's advocate, I could say the same thing about the women. Well, when I was out here struggling trying to get on, she throwing it in my face talking about how good Tyrone was, and she let him blow his back out, and how good Chad is, and taking it to the fine restaurants, and she calling me a scrub, she calling me dusty. You see what I'm saying? So it's just a vicious. So he goes off to Colombia, goes off to the Philippines, gets a dime. Of course he's gonna throw that in her face because that's where he's at. You know what I mean? I wouldn't, because I'm quiet as kept. I'm gonna keep it on the low. You know what I mean? When I come back, all you're gonna see is my more confidence. Because I was over here messing with these dimes in the foreign land. I'm gonna come home still confident. I'm gonna start, my game gonna get better in America. But these guys don't want to do any kind of work. That's my biggest problem with the passport bros. Yeah, it's still a cheat code to them. You're still leading with your wallet, and you're gonna get wrecked, and you're making it harder for everybody else. You know what I mean? So I'm not disagreeing with you.
The thing is, we got to tell these guys and explain to them that it's not a cheat code. It is just a different process.
It is a cheat code for those who want it to be a cheat code. I mean, it's just keeping it 100. For those guys who don't mind spending the money. Right.
Well, those are just mail order brides. Those already exist.
But I'm just saying, for those guys who don't mind the mail order bride, for those guys who don't mind leaving with their wallet, for those guys who don't want to do the work and get the game, this is in fact a cheat code. If your mission is to get a dime and you have no game, and you don't want to eat right, you don't want to go to the gym, and you don't want to study, you don't want to go out here and figure out, what women are looking for and make yourself to the best person and all that good stuff. If you don't want to do that work, you can go to Colombia, you can go to the Philippines, you go to Thailand. It is in fact a cheat code.
I understand that, but again, in the hypothetical you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
These guys are still going there for manipulation purposes. If you're leading with your wallet, and here's why, right? The first thing out of your mouth is, "Oh, why are you interested in this country?" Man, I'm balling as hell over there. I know the girl's gonna be all over me. If that's the first thing out your mouth, bro, you're getting finessed. And I already know that whatever love you say you fell in love, no, you fell in lust.
No. He can absolutely be in love, but he's gonna get wrecked in the end because he gonna fall for her game. He done failed. He think he winning. He think he hunting when he's being hunted.
Right. And so these guys got to understand that, bro, you're still, no matter how much money you think you have in another country, you're still in someone else's backyard. You're still the foreigner. You still don't know your way around here, bro. You still don't know where the good parts or the bad parts are at. They do. You know what I mean? Because you know what? They grew up, they was born and raised there, and they see guys like you all the time. And that's the part that we've talked about before, DL. And this is the thing I will not let the passport bros get away with. Because I told you this before. I at least okay with the mail order bride dudes because they just straight up, hey, it's consensual contract. The reason why the passport bros are such a problem is because they don't want to admit that they're just getting a mail order bride with extra steps, right? They want the illusion that they just happen to fall in love with this girl overseas, knowing all damn well this is basically a mail order bride, freaking tourist, wife, fiance visa shit. Like you just don't. That's where the men ego and pride, because men don't want that label and that stigma attached to the, let's be clear, they failed in a Western culture or whatever country, and they went to a country where they at least perceive it to be easier. Perceive. Guys, it is not easier. It is just different.
I get what you, I hear what you're saying, and I think we're just really arguing semantics here. You know what I mean? And guys, I didn't say it, but obviously the link's already down there, is pinned to the top, and obviously because Terus is here. So the link is in the chat. If you guys want to join, please, I welcome all of y'all input on this one. It's still, again, it could be all of those things. You could go down there and look at, like, I'm looking for a wife. You could find a wife. I remember when I was in the Army, we had a TUI mission to go to Grayling, Michigan, right? 1 year. So we go up for the summer. One of the guys on the team, as we were going, he was like, I'm gonna come back married. This is one of the dudes, brand new sergeant, brand new E5, white guy. He was like, I'm going to find my wife in Grayling, Michigan. We was looking at him like, huh? And that's all that was his focus. I'm gonna go up on this mission and I'm gonna find my wife. Guess what? He came back with a woman and got married within 6 months of us returning from that mission. We were up there for 3 months. We got back 6 months later. He was married to this woman he met up there. Now, his mission was to get married. He didn't care who the woman was, just so long as she was whatever he wanted. But the mission was to get married. Same thing. Had we got the same mission, if they sent us to Honduras, if he would say, I'm coming back with a wife, it would have been the exact same thing to me. The exact same thing. This dude knew how to get women. Obviously, he pulled her. And this dude was not the nicest guy. Actually, he was an asshole. No one liked him. He was one of those dudes. He would have got peered off of our team if he was on our team. Thank God he wasn't on our team. He was in a different platoon. You know what I mean? But asshole dude. But the woman was a real nice woman. And if the rumors are correct, she divorced him within a year after they got married. He did some dumb stuff, got caught. He wasn't an E5 long. Let's put it that way. And just a real stupid dude. But he went out and found himself a wife. Now, if that guy's like, I want to find me a wife, I can't find one in America, so I'm going to go to the Philippines and get me a wife, that's fine. But you'll have guys whose mission is, I just want to smash. I just want the Foxy Brown. And they don't mind paying for it. Okay, that's fine.
That's fine. Again, DL, see, that's what I'm saying. You and I agree. I'm just trying to explain to you why the women are responding the way they are to the passport bro. And it's because all of those reasons that we're talking about, these women wouldn't be aware of it if these passport bros would shut their freaking trap on their way out. That's it.
I agree with you there. You loud. No need to be loud.
You know what I mean? Yeah.
I dwell in the shadows. Like, I ain't on that loud stuff. This is right. It's people looking at me now on this thing like, bro, I can't believe you on. I'm like, hey man, I'm old now, man. I'm through with all that other stuff. So I could be, I could be out here, but I hate being loud. But those dudes, they are that Austin dude out of Texas got himself into a little something happened in Brazil. And he was like, I gotta leave Brazil. These men are out here trying to hurt me. I know people in Colombia who had to leave Colombia because they got too loud and was doing some stuff, right? So you gotta, that gets into generational stuff. Like y'all dudes out here putting everything on the gram.
Guys,
and all that.
Do y'all know? I need my men, especially my young Black and Latino men, if you're listening, to really understand something. In every single country that is not the United States, if you think we have it bad here, I want you to understand that we don't even get the benefit of skin tone when it comes to international borders. Because if you go to any of these countries, stone cold stupid, do you understand how many random ass Americans they find dead in some ditch in some foreign country? And we are the easiest to just pin it on, blame it on the American, and keep it moving.
And here's the thing,
you guys are going in here with the sex with the sex tour shit. You guys are gonna get got, man. I don't want to see y'all go down like that, man.
Man, they gonna get got here in America. And here's the thing to that statement right here in Tampa. There was a dude. It was a dude, and y'all can see this on Pink Book Lessons, y'all. Go check out Pink Book Lessons. But this happened in Tampa, and I saw it on her platform. This dude bodied two guys in a recording studio, one of those makeshift recording studios in somebody's house, right? He deleted two guys And the studio engineer wasn't in the room when he did it. Came out, what's going on? See the dudes down, police come, right? Whatever. They take guy into custody, whatever, arrest him. He gets out on bond. He deleted 2 dudes. This took time. Eventually, he wound up in court. He beat the case. Self-defense. He beat the case. It's his word against the other 2 dudes, and they ain't breathing, right? So he beat the case. Within, I don't even think it was a week or weeks after he beat that case, he catch 2 more bodies, right? 2 more bodies. So, and this is how they went down. He was messing with this woman, this black one. This is a black dude, of course, messing with this woman, shooting up the club. She's like, I'm pregnant. You the dad. He wasn't trying to hear that. So he rolled up on her, deleted her, which is 2 bodies because she had a body inside of her. Right. And we waited to see
what's planned on keeping. So it's 2 bodies. Yeah.
2 bodies. So, and here's the thing. So it's like, all right. So this dude, you know, we already know he ain't gonna beat this one. You know what I mean? So the only reason I told that story is to say this: the entire world is dangerous, right? Those guys you're trying to save from winding up in the ditch down in Colombia or the Philippines somewhere, they can wind up on a ditch over here, South Central or South Side Chicago, or over here in Old Tampa. You know what I mean? Come on now.
Hey, but just like we could get into a wreck right now on the highway, I'm still gonna tell you to buckle up. And that's the same thing I'm gonna do with my passport, bros. I know anything could happen. I'm still gonna tell you to buckle up. Learn a couple phrases, do something.
And my way of telling you to buckle up is learn game. Learn game in America. Because if you're a mark here in America, you're gonna be a mark over there. Those women run real game. They know what they're doing. They know what they're doing. Are they capable of falling in love with a man? Absolutely. But, bro, they gonna come take every dime. You're gonna be
now,
in 2,000-3,000 before you get there.
Can I shoot my international guys, my passport bros, some bail for a second? I need women to understand the flip side to all of this. Women, we exist on social media where we can talk to other women in a different country, in a different continent, like that. Right? The world is increasingly global. Borders psychologically are actually being broken down. Those barriers are being broken down, especially with people are now seeing, other than the language and some cultural aspects, Western society, right? Operate about the same, right? That's just the way the world is, right? And so, yeah, guys tend to naturally go for what they perceive to be, I guess, the easiest bait, if we want to be as primal with this talk, if we will. But at the end of the day, ladies, y'all can't be responding to every little thing that dudes might do, because you guys right now have the loudest voices in this country, and every time you make something, like you say something on the Twitter force, it spreads. You know what I mean? And so it's like, well, yeah, this is where the guys got a good point. Like, this isn't that big of a problem yet. But women need to understand immigration patterns. You need to understand the one-child policy and why there is now currently 30 million more men than there are women right now. That's how screwed up they got the population.
Yeah, you're talking about China.
Right. Yep.
And that's real talk.
Yeah.
Oh, go ahead, bro.
Yeah, people got to understand, like, right now, there's such an imbalance, just human population right now. Remember, America, technically, we don't have enough bodies to run the economy efficiently. So we're actually losing money because we can't sustain the supply for our demand. You got other countries where their market is overrun because there's too many people. So there's just a whole bunch of imbalances going everywhere. And so women got to understand, like, sometimes it ain't even about, well, most of the time, it's not even about you as American women or your Western European women. It's just the fact that, man, some of these dudes was on some message board. They was talking to some girl who happened to be somewhere, and they hit it off. It ain't got nothing to do with you as an American woman or a woman personally. It's just, bro, people meet so many different ways. You got to stop thinking that everything is an attack on you. That's that's what I would tell women.
I get you there, and I would, but I get you there, and I'm gonna leave it alone because I agree with you for the most part. It's just now we're getting like, what came first, the chicken or the egg? I would say, well, women brought this on themselves. Like, well, what do you mean, dear? I'm like, well, now it's back to hypergamy. You overlooked these guys for so long, and now they go out there and they, what I'm saying, they get their little joystick wet, and they finally get to talk to a hot chick. Yeah, some of these dudes are gonna rub it in their face, right? So, but I'm with you. Like, dudes should learn game before they leave America. I don't think if any dude who's going out there meeting any woman anywhere on planet Earth, if you don't have game, you're probably going to get wrecked. You know what I'm saying? Brother Doug, I would estimate that it's about 5% of passport bros looking for wives. Yeah, if we're just making up numbers, I'll accept those numbers, bro. 5, maybe 10%, but yeah, 5. I've seen these guys for years with no wives yet. I see plenty of notches under their belts. Yeah, because what they really want, they want the access. They want to be in the candy store. They want to be in the candy store. Shout out to Myron Gaines, Fresh and Fit. He talks about the candy store. He said I could actually use that analogy, but I don't. I got to practice it first because I don't want to mess it up. If I do it, I want to do it exactly the way he does. My Red Pill brothers have been hitting me up, man, do the candy store. But these guys want to get into the candy store, but they don't want to do the work. And that's what that is. You go to these countries and you use your money to push you in the candy store. Miss AKA Lady C, your example proves my point. You can go get a wife, but if you're not a good partner, you're still going to have the same results. Yeah, if you're not willing to work on it, if you're a pretty shitty guy or a pretty shitty woman, you're probably going to have the same results. I ain't going to lie to you. That's facts. You know what I mean? We got Brother D-Mac.
If you can't commit to yourself, then you can't run to any country that's going to solve that problem. If you got commitment issues, you got commitment issues. Ain't no woman going to solve that, guys. Like,
ain't no man gonna solve that. Ain't no high value man or ain't no top tier woman gonna solve that for you. You got to solve that on yourself, Brother D-Mac. America is the most dangerous country in the world. We will kill you if you are wearing the wrong colors. You cannot compare the danger. I agree with that. Not just the wrong color. You're in the wrong place at the right time.
America got first world problems. We're a violent country by first world standards. We are super spoiled and privileged when it comes to the rest of the world. Let's be very clear about that.
One of the most horrific stories about violence, especially violence against women that I've heard in a while, was what this guy from Texas did to this beautiful woman in Bogota. You know what I mean? And it's like, America, listen, bro, and this is where me and you probably really disagree. There is no violence like American violence, and we try to hold it in. If we were to unleash Americans and just let them be as violent as they want to be, man, come on now. I think we're the most violent society ever in the history. I think we're more violent than the Spartans. I think we're more violent than the Aztecs. I think we're more violent than the Vikings. The stuff that we do, we delete people for pure pleasure, for sport. You know what I mean? Like the stuff that we do in this country, man, we got some real sickos in this country, man. And I will put our sickos, if there was a sickos Olympics, I will put our sickos against any sicko from the world. People were talking about the Taliban and how vicious they are. I'm like, bro, take the hardest core tally guy that you can find and give him a 7-Eleven in the hood somewhere, anybody's hood, any state, any city. That dude ain't gonna last. As tough as he think he is, you bring him over here and drop him off in any hood, any city, man. He gonna wind up on a milk carton. And from you young kids, milk carton.
Or
when we was growing up,
right to the Arabs that own the gas stations in the hood.
Right, and guess what? Them boys live in fear all day, every day. No,
they be balling out of control. They be balling out of control all day.
Okay, bro. I said, man.
This is what I'm saying, bro. Like Americans, we got first world problems because, yes, Americans are reckless. We're crazy. But again, there's whole countries where the government says it's still legal for honor killings. Like women.
I'm not, here, bro. Listen, I hear what you're saying. But that goes on in this country too. And there's no honor about that.
It's illegal.
But that's my whole point. That's my whole point. It doesn't matter legal or not. Bro, the most vicious people I've ever been around are Americans. The most vicious. Hands down, no one's close. Say what you want about them dudes in the desert. I am not worried about the tally. I ain't worried about them and their culture over there in their Sharia law. I ain't worried about that. Bring them over here.
We're surrounded by Americans, though.
My thing is,
we're
okay,
still talking relative though, right?
I grew up around savages in America. Okay. I'm just letting you know, bro. Right down the street from you, I grew up around savages, man. I grew up around people that wouldn't hesitate to throw acid on you, bro. They wouldn't hesitate to cut your hand off, bro. Wouldn't hesitate to put a bullet in your mom. I grew up around that. Now, yeah, there are Americans out there who don't know nothing about this world I'm talking about here in America. And all I'm saying is I will put the worst American savages that I personally know against the worst savages that I faced in the Middle East or anywhere else on the planet. And guess what? I got all my money on the American. Don't nobody delete like America.
I would take, see, you're right. We do disagree because I would take the worst of the worst from Chicago, East Cleveland, Detroit, and from where my mom was born and raised, Bronx, New York, from the 70s, her era. I would combine all them dudes, pair them up with the people in the Middle East and go, you know what? I feel a lot more safer around my dudes from Chicago and East Cleveland and all that. I actually ride with you guys. I'm comfortable. Now, because I just got way a higher opinion of my fellow people than some others, bro.
I know dudes that'll go out and delete somebody simply because they want to. A complete stranger.
And simply because they want to. And then there's plenty of people who would jump in front of a bullet because they want to. There's plenty of those Americans.
I've seen that too. But again, the argument I'm making is like, people talk about of developed nations, right? Yeah. America's the worst. You take the worst from America and send them anywhere on the planet, bro. I'm telling you. You take them dudes from the Badlands up there in Cleveland. Take the dudes from my hood and some other hoods in Cincinnati. You take the South Central dudes. You take the guys from Liberty City. You take the guys from the Bronx. Start naming these real bad neighborhoods, trailer parks too. White guys too. I ain't just talking about black people. You take them and put them in the Middle East. Give them the tools they need. Say there's no laws, bro.
If you took them dudes in the hood and teleported them to Somalia, you know how many American heads would be chopped off with machetes and sitting there on the shores?
Bro.
Like the dudes don't speak the language. They don't understand the culture. They don't know what they're doing.
They understand the violence. You take these dudes like there are no rules.
They don't have the ability to commit violence fast enough for it to matter.
Like I said, give them the tools that they have. Get on the ground and let them do what they do. It's like if you took away the rules of engagement with the, and we're gonna get off of this in a second, but if you took away the rules of engagement, if you took away the Uniform Code of Military Justice, no one would want to see the American Army come in, or the Marine Corps, especially the Marine Corps, the Army, the Navy, the Air Force. They wouldn't want to see us. If you would just let us work on our instincts as Americans and just let us, what do I need to do to go home? Wipe out this village? Get that sniper out that village? Man, we're gonna wipe the whole village out. Which happened in World War II, by the way. Think about it. There's only one country that's ever killed people en masse.
That's not really American culture, Gio. Like we got the culture that would rally around. I would expect that out of Middle Eastern cultures and some East African cultures.
That's the point I'm trying to make right here, bro. What country is the only country that's ever dropped nukes? This one. You know what I mean? What country is the only country that does this kind of stuff? We just don't report it because we normally win.
Hey,
we are vicious, bro. And I ain't mad. I'm glad. I'm Team America all day, bro. I'm Team America. I ain't mad. Yeah. I just wanted to get home. I want to drive home the point that this place is vicious, man. Like America, there's some great parts of America, but there's some really bad parts of America.
We got people. I know that. I grew up, and not only did I grow up a military brat, but then when I actually grew up in Cleveland, in East Cleveland, like I know what this shit looks like. It's just what I'm saying is that even as dire as it was, it still wasn't places in Africa that don't even have developed roads. And they literally got warlords out there, bro.
Yeah.
I gotta remind y'all that they had, what was it, like thousands of children and women kidnapped at once?
And here's the thing, though.
That shit ain't happening in America.
Remove the laws and it will. That's all I'm saying. Remove the restraints.
We're no longer a first world.
That's fine, but remove the restraints. Remove the restraints. You want to talk about berserkers? Remove the restraints. So and we'll double back to it.
I love this conversation. Yeah. This is like a rabbit hole, man.
We'll do it. We'll come back to this in the future at one time because, dude, we are vicious, man. Like Americans don't care. You know what I mean, Miss Globe girl. Women over there, no game. The women in the West, no game. It seems to me the passport bros are lacking game. They can't keep up wherever they go. it's quite sad. I agree 100%. That's for you, Shorty. That's my whole thing right there. Passport bros, if they would sit there and learn game, I'm not saying that they shouldn't travel. They should. You should broaden your horizons. But if they learn game, they wouldn't be running over there, getting their knots count up, hitting the cheat code. I think if they had game, that they would be okay. The bottom 80 dudes, contrary to belief, the guys in the red pill, the guys in the manosphere or the manoswamp, as Rich Cooper likes to call it now, all those guys want is a woman. They want one woman. One. They don't want to spin plates. They don't want to run rotations, right? They don't want to exercise options. They want one woman. They want a woman that they can that's just gonna be home. They can go and work hard and bust their butt and come home to their woman. And guess what? She ain't even got to cook. He'll split those duties. She ain't even got to clean. He'll split those duties. I mean, he ain't gonna sit there and just, take care of her like a baby. But I'm just saying, she doesn't have to be 100% traditional. Just a little bit traditional. That's all that guy wants. That's all he wants. The problem. Go ahead.
There's women right here in America that want that shit. Like, This is the problem. Like, what you're describing, some of my wife's friends back in Germany meet that description. Like, you don't need to go to a specific country for that, bro. Like, it's like, that's what I understand what passport bros are maybe trying to say, but still, if you're going to go that route, DL, they need to be told, at least go to a country that you're actually interested in. You could see yourself actually one day maybe actually living there.
Yeah, but they're not interested in the
I'm
country.
I'm gonna go over here, pick up a girl, and come back. You know what I mean?
That's all they want. And here's the thing. I agree with you, bro. But the thing is this, bro. You asking an American to read? What? Come on now. You asking an American to critically think? Stop it. Dude just want to smash, man. Dude just want to smash. I'm keeping it 100. Dude just wants to smash. We're talking about a guy that probably can't name 5 states in his own country. You know what I mean? Come on now, and doesn't care. But he can tell you all the teams in the NFL. He can run all the numbers on that. And I'm not meaning that just to be picking on people, but it's like you're asking for something that just shit ain't gonna happen. I agree with you. You should want to learn something about that country.
It's just crazy, bro, because that's what y'all convinced me that the red pill space was, to give these guys information, but they're still not taking it.
I've done shows on that. These guys hear the red pill message, but they don't accept it. They don't because if they find a cheat code, they'll take it. What? Only got to spend $300-400 and I can go down here and do this? I'm gonna do that. Then they come back. Oh man, I can't believe that girl drugged me and took my other little $400 I had. Yeah, bro, you needed some game. What made you think she? You know what I'm saying? Like, how did you meet her? This, that, and the third. They have no game. They're not thinking on that level, but they're willing to risk it, bro. Why? Because it's a dime and they can't get that dime in America. You said that there are women in America who would love to be in a relationship with, with that guy, where are they? The women who want those relationships are married. They're gone. And they got the dudes. They're gone. And the rest of the women are running around here talking about they ain't no good men, right? We're talking about who threw the first stone. These women running around here talking about men are dusty and they all trash. Ain't no good men out here. But that same woman has 3 kids by 4 baby daddies. Yeah, figure that out. You know what I mean? Like, what are we doing here? You know what I mean? We talk about paternity fraud and all that kind of stuff. We look at what's going on with our family law system. The whole thing is slanted a certain way.
The issue is that, DL, I don't know if you're noticing or if this conversation has been brought up, but these American men who ain't got their shit together are then going to the country, knocking up these women, and then coming back to America. Bro, you know how many women are pregnant in Germany by American American soldiers, and they gone.
That's been going on as long as there's been war.
Right. But that's what I'm saying. Like, it's one thing for a dude to complain about all these so-called values, only for you to go to another country and effectively be a virus, be the same virus you was complaining about. You get what I mean? Like, if all you're going to do is go to another country and then create a broken home, then what are we doing?
Right. I mean, and it just goes to, I think the biggest problem is this. If we can get people to get back to critically thinking, men and women, and teaching our kids how to think, I believe some of these problems go away on their own. You know what I mean? There's nothing that can really be done about hypergamy. It is what it is. But I don't have a problem with hypergamy, but it's just now women are like, either I get my prince or I die alone. And that right there is a lack of critical thinking skills. Why would you do that? You know what I mean? Don't do that. And these guys are like, well, there's no need for me going out here. Women don't like me, whatever. I don't have any money. My jawline's the wrong shape or whatever. So I'm not even gonna try. That's a problem. I think that's a problem on both sides. Even when you do the passport bros thing, it's still at the end of the day, guys realize this. You go out there and start spinning plates or running rotation. At the end of the day, you realize it's an empty life, bro. It's empty. So what? You smashed all these women. Good for you. But now you're sick. Your foot is swollen. Buddy. Right. Good job, buddy. But now you're sick. Your foot is swollen and no one's there to help you. You know what I mean? It's just as bad for a man to die alone as it is for a woman to die alone. So you got this guy over here down alone and this woman over here down alone. Why aren't they together? You know what I mean? Like, that just doesn't make any sense to me. So I wanted to get that out there. I really appreciate everybody. Oh, Brother Hayoka's here. I was just about to wrap it up, and then Brother Hayoka jumps up. So we're going to pull him up and let him get his points in. Brother Hayoka, what's good, man? We're going to let you get your points in, and then we're going to roll into final thoughts here in a second. How you feeling, bro?
Brother Tarus.
Hey.
How are you both doing today?
Good, man. How you doing, bro?
Hey, look, brother Hayoka, the way you came in here, like, Brother Tarus.
Right. Here comes the heat.
Coming with the heat. Go ahead, bro.
No, you know what got me. I'm like, Brother Tarus talk like birth control has never been around, and that brothers are going to other countries and just knocking women up and having these kids.
Beat Skeet Delete, bro. That's what it's called. Come on, man. Smash and go. Men been doing this for centuries. This ain't new.
Yeah, spread your seed far and wide. You still with us, Brother Hayoka?
Yeah, I'm still there, but the problem is that I say simply this, is that I could see if you did. Yes, I am. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you. Go ahead.
Yeah.
Looks like
there are 23 different forms of birth control. If a woman decides that she doesn't want to have a child, she can decide that.
Facts.
Right. Men only need one version of birth control, and they can't even be trusted to put that on.
But irrespective of that,
100%. And yes, and it takes two to tango, but that's not even 100%. But go ahead, Brother Hayoka.
Well, even though it might take two to tango, the ultimate decision is a woman's.
Right. It's her choice. In this country anyway, it's her choice. You know, women in America, women decide who gets born and who doesn't. That's just real talk.
Okay, so in the context of the in the context of this conversation, doesn't that only apply to women who live in countries where abortion is legal?
I think we still have. You still there, Brother Hayoka?
You mean what? Birth control only applies to in countries where
if you're in a country where abortion's not legal and you don't have that sort of access to birth control because you're an impoverished country, and then you live in a government that's also banned certain contraceptions. Remember, Catholics, if they had their way, even things like condoms would be banned and stuff like that. So in this conversation, why do men then choose the countries where women are least likely to be able to have access to those sort of
things? Can I log off for 1 minute? I'll be right back.
Okay.
I didn't forget you. I'm just getting feedback.
Okay. Yeah, he'll come back. But I mean, I hear what you. So here's the thing, and we hear this a lot too. Now, I'm only talking about America now. I'm not talking about the rest of the world, but with America right now. And then we can talk about the rest of the world here in a hot second. But in America, right? Women always say that. Oh, you knocked me up. Da da da. It's his fault I got pregnant. And that's one of the things I'm like, look, shorty, you 35 years old and you're saying it just happened. Ladies, y'all tell me if I'm wrong, but for a 35-year-old woman to be like, oh, I just happened to get pregnant, that just doesn't sound right to me. Now,
no, for sure. I mean, I agree with that, but let's be clear. Yeah. Most of these accidental births, if you will, are happening late teens, early 20s. Right, that's the majority of those cases of the accident, if you will.
And with the younger generations, right? The choice still lies with the woman and her family. So if you choose to have the child, okay, fine. You know what I mean? It is what it is. But it's not the other guy's fault that you made that choice. Well, it's his fault that we smashed. Like, well, like you said, it takes two to tango. Well, it's his fault because he didn't put on the condom. Well, you didn't tell him to put it on. You didn't put it on him. I know I done met some women in my day that would put the condom inside their mouth and put that thing on you. It ain't like I took it off after she did what she did. So I'm saying, so it's one of those things. Like, come on now. It's just people that don't want to take responsibility for their actions. Period. I got I was hot and bothered. I got caught up in the moment. We did what we did. You know what I mean? And here we are. And my thing is, I'm like,
so in the context of this conversation, how does that solve the problems of passport bros?
It has no. I think it has no bearing whatsoever on that conversation.
Because guess what? Let's say you're from a country. Oh, hypothetical deal. Let's say you go to a country that was one of these, like, I don't want to say anti-Western country, but they were a more Eastern philosophy style country, or just, a mixed version, right? And so they were really already upbringing and indoctrinated from, right to life, pro-birth, that kind of stuff. But what if upon bringing her to America and actually living here, she didn't realize that she actually has so many options, and then she realized, oh, wait, I'm not actually trapped with this dude. So what happens when you bring a woman from an impoverished country into an enlightened country? What's your odds of keeping her?
But the thing is this, even with that example, we're going in thinking this woman has no education. We're going in, you know what I'm saying, like, oh, this poor, uneducated woman from some third world country, when in fact, she's probably well aware of what's going on in America and American laws. And if she isn't, she can certainly Google it. So I don't think that's a fair, you know what I'm saying?
For the passport bros, it is. For that demographic that we're talking about, it is, because they're intentionally picking the third world impoverished countries. When they bring up the countries they go to, it's always war-torn, super impoverished, or ran by drug cartels.
Like, bro, they're not in Somalia,
Colombia,
or like the poorest parts of Vietnam or Moldova somewhere. No,
they're in
bro.
The Philippines, they're in Cambodia,
they're not in Cambodia. Like, they're not in Vietnam. They're not in the Golden Triangle, man. They're in the Philippines.
Have you seen the reports of some of these dudes trying to get these Ukrainian women fleeing the war right now? And that's just disgusting.
All I'm saying is this, man. That it just sounds to me that we're trying to make some women into victims, but they're not. I would argue that the majority of these women, even coming from these countries you're talking about, are better educated and are far superior thinkers than the men that are chasing them that are from America. But Brother Hayoka is back. We want to let him get in there and make his point. Can you hear us, bro?
Yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yep, we can hear you. So we're gonna let you get your point in there. And What We Know podcast is in the house, man. I think that's Brother JT. But go ahead, bro.
Yeah. Brother Tarus, you're talking about the same thing that happens in Gambia, where the European women go and they sleep with the men in Gambia and they are economically superior to them. The thing about it is that it has always been, since ancient times, that if you have the resources for protection and the other person is in an impoverished position, that it's a come up for you. If you have two choices, you can either stay in your present condition or you can choose something else. Well, I don't see where that would be. It's not brain surgery. It's not rocket science.
Hey, Oka, these dudes are going overseas and still taking L's. This is the issue.
But we've already established that they're going to take L's here too, so it doesn't matter, really.
No. But that's the point, right? We're trying to give them solutions so they don't keep taking L's because it's making us look bad. You know what I mean? Like, I thought that's what we tried to do here.
No, I don't think there's no stopping that, bro. If you got a guy who wants to cheat code, who's not wanting to do the work, who's not going to make himself the best person and educate himself, he's going to lose. Now, I would argue this: if he marries a woman over there and they stay over there and he loses, I don't think his loss will be as great there as it is in America. I don't think he loses half. In fact, I think he has a chance at actually having a functional relationship.
I don't consider that an L because that's just life. Like,
right.
Hey, I really tried, I committed, but it didn't work out. Like, you actually gave it a go. That's that's different. But the passport bros, unfortunately, DL, you know this, man. They really dance between that sex tourist crap, you know what I mean, and the mail order bride nonsense.
But you're looking at the same situation in Gambia where, like I said, you have a lot of European women, you have a lot of black women going to Jamaica, okay, spending money. The men are in impoverished positions. And so the thing about it is that my question would simply be this. Okay, it's a human dynamic. You can't change it. And so we've always had sexual tourism of some kind.
Okay, here's the difference. And this is the part where my men need to understand this. You know why you know about these rich white women going to Jamaica or Ghana or wherever and getting that Mandingo style sex vacation?
Yes, I do. The reason why is because presently,
no, Hayoka. The reason why is
I do know.
You guys who got offended after the women responded to your nonsense, those men went around the world looking for crap. Oh, see, this is what the women are doing too. Now you had to go search that and find
no, bro.
Hold on. Let's hear Brother Hayoka's pushback, bro.
No, I didn't have to go research that. I've known about that for years.
So
European women going and having kids and getting pregnant and bringing them back. That's old news. That's not new news.
I told you before.
So me knowing about it, I didn't have to go and research it. I'm that way anyway, as far as looking up information and things like that. But that being said, no, I didn't go out there actually looking for that. No more than I would know.
How do you think the information even popped up to begin with for you to know?
Here's the thing:
because somebody had to go out there and look for it. Correct? That's the only way. That's the only way we can look at it.
Well, here's the thing: I have a friend whose wife is in Thailand. Okay, right now, he's a merchant seaman. He travels the world. Okay. He tells me, he said, when they do prostitution there, he said, it's because they are impoverished, not because they want to. So yeah, that's someone that I could say, oh, well, he researched it for me. Okay. I have my extended family is in Liberia. Okay. I know that there's poverty there.
You just made the point for me. These dudes,
you can't change human nature.
Well, one, I'm not arguing against the human nature. I'm arguing about we need to change the image so these guys stop getting played in this record amount of numbers. I know, I don't know how many different ways that I got to explain that this has been going on since the dawn of time. Like I told you before, Hayoka, hypergamy has always been a thing.
Of course.
And if you're a guy talking about hypergamy and you're single, that means you've almost hit the point of no return. That might be your wall.
But here's the metaphorically speaking. But here's the point. Here's the point, bro. I'm not pushing back. I don't think Brother Hayoka's pushing back. Here's the thing, though. I'm just saying, for the majority of these guys, there's nothing we can do for them. There's nothing we can do. It's kind of like triage. There's nothing we can do for those guys. It's like being on the beach and we're the medics and we're crawling around under heavy fire and we gotta look. We can save the guys we can save. We can't save this dude over here. You know what I mean? His lung is hanging out. We can't save this dude over here. He's gargling blood. We can save this dude over here.
Tossed out there like human meat shields, though.
They're not being tossed out there.
Yes,
they're choosing. They're choosing to do that. They're choosing to do
that. But they choose.
My question to you, Brother Tarus, my question to you would simply be this: then, if I choose to go to another country and get with a woman, okay, and lose every dime that I have, okay, over there, how can you stop me? Since
Bro,
you say,
you're not listening to anything I said, I'm not trying to stop you. I simply asked, can you at least pick a country you're interested in? That's what I'm saying about the passport, bros. Stop picking the impoverished country and pick a country that you're actually interested in. So if that happened to you, Heyoka, you know what I would say? Damn, that sucks, bro. I hope you figure it out next time. Because you are not what I'm talking about whatsoever.
But here's the point. Here's real quick on that point. If these men were told that if you went to Ireland, right, you can get this dime, she gonna smash. They just want women. I'm sorry, they just want men. They're thirsty. They just that. So if you go to Ireland, this is what's gonna happen. Look at this video. Look at these text messages. Man, these women are beautiful. Guess what? All these dudes will be going to Ireland. If you said that about Britain, they'll be in Britain. If you said that about Japan, right? If you said that about Russia, if you said that about Somalia, right? Australia, it does, like, it doesn't matter. You know what I mean?
I think Brother Tarus is saying that you should be more interested in the scenery and sightseeing when you go to those countries. That's what I'm getting.
Yeah, or have an interest in the culture. And I'm with you, bro. I'm with you. That's just not going to happen for the vast majority of these dudes. Why?
But
they're
it
not educated.
needs to, and that's what we need to do. That's what I'm sorry, you know me, bro. I think I could save some people. And Heyoka, I think that's what you're not getting, bro. I don't care about what you do. I'm more concerned about the dudes who can't keep their mouth, like they got to trash American women on their way out. That's what I'm responding to.
And I don't even care about that.
And I want the passport bros to stop taking L's. Like the dudes who are just being tossed out there as human meat shield, as a sacrificial lambs. I'm trying to lower that amount. So guys, if you want to go travel, can you pick a country? If you want to see beautiful women, every country got beautiful women. Pick one you're
Brother Tarus, I want you to know tomorrow morning I'm going to try to stop the sun from shining. And after that, I'm going to move the moon from its orbit.
Exactly. But I get where Brother Tarus is coming from, though. I get where you're coming from.
The media version of that was called No Nut November. Hey, okay, look how many dudes can't even do that.
You're right. And
come on, man.
And here's the thing, because and I say this to you, of course, with respect, and I say the same thing to Black Man Unfiltered. Same thing to Black Man. I'm like, bro, you ain't never gonna get these dudes to keep it in their pants, homie. Ever. It's women's job to women controls access to the Foxy Brown.
So
men control access to relationships.
So if you're going to be a hornball anyway, do it in a country that you're actually interested in.
Why?
I think the best place for that, even if you want to do that. But here's the thing, even so, let me get this in real quick. That is a conversation, perhaps a debate for our education system, our educational system.
But
but go ahead.
But why wouldn't I optimize my chances of whatever I desire of getting? So wait a minute, Brother Tarus, if I'm going to optimize where I'm going to go according to my desires as far as sex, then what happens is that your sexual, as well as I, you have two heads of two minds. Okay. If that's the case, you can say, oh, well, I like Ireland. They have a nice culture. Okay, beautiful. But if I want to score, and that's my job, then that's what my desire is, then I'm going to optimize for whatever country that I can score in, regardless of whether you think or not that I should be interested in the culture.
And you'll be yet another dead American on CNN on the little panel. Possibly, but still. Hey, okay, I've already answered the question. I'm going to answer it again. The reason that is stupid, the reason why that is moronic, not you being a moron, not you being stupid, that is a stupid decision. I'm not taking it like that. Okay. The reason why is because you're maximizing your resources for a country you're not interested in and you know nothing about. You're only going there because of your wallet and because of your dick. So you're not interested in learning phrases of how to order food or how to get to the main train station or how to get a cab or how to do anything like that. You're only interested in bagging the women. That makes you an instant number one mark. And so if you're going to go overseas anyway, at least be smart enough to do it in a country that you're interested in. Why? Because then you'll learn some of the lingo. You'll learn some of the cultural things. You'll learn some of the things you're not supposed to do. You
But
won't
that's if
be
you're interested in
so
culture.
blind.
Well, hold on.
Because no matter how much money you
Brother
have,
Therese,
when you go to another country, you are in someone else's backyard. That's not your home. You don't know that place.
But hold on.
yeah, I agree with you. But the problem with it is simply this, Brother Therese, simply this, that my interest, if that's something that I was interested in doing, would be for sex. Now, yeah, I might be going there, and I might.
Go to the red light district. Go to Netherlands like everyone else, bro. You ain't got to do that.
Well,
shit
wait a
in
minute, wait a
private
minute,
countries.
wait a minute. Yeah, I've seen the red light district, but I'm saying to you like this. Even then, I'm going because of my interest. I can stay here and be an incel, or I can go there, okay, and get some sense of intimacy, wherever
Wait,
that might be.
You
If
can't
that's
buy
the case,
that here in America.
well, here's the thing. I obviously, no. Listen. Obviously, if I'm traveling, okay, give you an example. I had a doctor the other day who was 400 pounds. I knew that any amount of intimacy that he would get, he would have to pay for. Okay. Here in the States, unless you're in Nevada, most of that is verboten. Okay. If you go to other countries, okay, it might be frowned upon. Just like I said in Thailand, it might be frowned upon, but it's not illegal. So what happens is like this: you can go there and you can get the girlfriend experience and whatever you want. Okay, turn around, you come back here, and you be like, okay, well, I'm happy. They're doing what makes them happy. And the thing about it is that if you say, well, they should learn the culture and everything else like that, that's a value judgment as to what they should learn or not. That's not a value judgment as to what they want or not.
Yeah, and now,
Bro,
and brother
can't
Therese,
you want something and protect yourself at the same time? Like the last time I checked, that's not an either or thing.
but it depends on the
No.
individual. The answer to your question,
Last time you checked, it wasn't either or thing.
Hold on. The answer to your question is yes. And again, I think I want to move on from this because I want to get to I want to wrap this up. But here's the thing, brother Therese, I hear you, and I don't think we're really pushing back. All we're saying is this: these guys are going not to get culture; they're going to get beautiful women. Now, here's a scenario. I'll say the scenario, then I'm going to read the last chats here, and then we're going to do final thoughts. So here's the thing. The guy, let's say the guy goes to whatever country. I said Ireland before. He goes to Ireland because he heard the women were beautiful and they love American men. And you can get over there and smash and smash and smash. So he gets over there. He meets this woman. He's smashing or whatever, but he falls in love with the woman, right? And because he loves her, she's taking him around and showing him the countryside and taking him and showing him the castles and showing him the food and getting to meet all these other people. So by default, he did exactly what you were saying he should have done in the first place. He kind of got to learn the area. Comes back home. So now when he tells his story, he's just like, yeah, they got beautiful women over there, but I found my woman over there. I'm going to marry this woman. And man, let me tell you about the Irish culture. You know when they were talking about the potatoes, and you know when they talk about this, and let's talk about the IRA, and you know they got castles over there. He learned all this through this woman that he fell in love with. How did he meet this woman? He was just trying to smash. She was one of 20 women that he had smashed over 2 or 3 trips or whatever. And he just fell in love. So I wish the guys would do what you're saying and have an actual interest in the culture of the country in which they are going. I wish that were the case. Will some of these dudes, maybe somebody will watch this and they'll like, you know what, maybe I'll do that. Possible, but highly unlikely. Why? Because brother Hayuko was saying, these guys simply want to go out and smash because they can't get it here, right? So they're going to get that. They could care less about the culture. So I wanted to end it there. Otherwise, you know, brother Hayuko and me and brother Therese will be talking for the next 4 hours on this topic, talking about why you should learn the culture before you go, which I agree with. But D-Mac had a good point in here, and there's a few other chats I'm going to read, and we're going to wrap this up. Brother D-Mac was saying a lot of these people don't really understand American culture is to live to work, and other countries are to work to live. You know what I mean? They work to live, and here in America, we live to work, which is facts.
I bring that up all the time, right? Yep. People want to be strong fathers and family values. And in the meantime, we tell dads they need to be working 60, 80 hours a week to make it.
Yeah, for real. And then brother D-Mac goes on to say that at brother Jose, single mothers trying to raise boys. We are raising a generation of cowards. I would say, yes, we are raising a generation of cowardly males. because they were born to embrace this victim mentality. I think that's what it is. They're not out there, getting punched in the mouth. They're not out there doing man stuff. They're out there learning to be victims. It's not your fault. This, that, and the third. Not to try to blame. I'm not trying to blame women. I'm not trying to blame women on this, but it just seems to be the case that, they're being, women are nurturers and they love and they want to protect and they want to do all these other things. Whereas guys are like, you fall down, get up, rub some dirt on it. You ain't hurt. The bone ain't sticking out. You'll be fine. We're missing that. I think we are missing that. And then Brother Jose was agreeing. See, Brother D-Mac, passport bros are hitting the countries where they can find beautiful women. Facts. Miss Globe Girl had a point. It seems to me there's a lot of glorifying the idea of passport bros. It seems, because you're hearing it so much. I agree with you there, love. You can't stop them, but you can stop glorifying the idea, especially as older men. And here's the thing: I don't have a problem with it. I'm in line with Brother Tarus. I don't mind glorifying it, in quotes, but understand what it truly is. You know what I mean? Understand that there's another culture and there's so much more you can learn. You can broaden your horizons and you could be with a beautiful woman. So I feel you, but I hear you coming from. It is kind of being glorified, and it's like the worst parts of it. We got G Complex in the house, my brother Chris, man. What's good? Fresh and fit in the building. You know what I mean? That's how we met. So I'm gonna do Sister Candace, and then we're out. Sister Candace, you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make him drink. And that's for you, Brother Trues. That's what you want to do. You want to make him drink. Here's the water, drink. You know what I mean? But you can't make him drink.
That's what waterboarding is for.
That's what waterboarding is for real. Some people are just going to touch that hot ass stove anyway. Facts. You know what I mean? And then my people, relax, brother. What's up? If you're paying for Foxy Brown, you're a loser. Hey, man, some people say that. Some people don't. Some people like, hey, it is what it is. There are people who will argue you're paying for it one way or the other via the courting process and buying dinners and drinks and blah, 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 blah. It is what it is. But I mean, if you're paying for it, some people that they don't agree with it. There's some people that do. I know the fresh and fit guys are like, you shouldn't pay for it. You know what I mean? That's their stance on it. But you got a whole bunch of other dudes who are like, man, go ahead and pay for it. Why? It's a cheat code. You know what I mean? And like Brother Hayoka said, you get the girlfriend experience and they don't care because they can't get it here in America. So we're going to roll into final thoughts.
Just called an escort.
Nah, escorts aren't necessarily the girlfriend experience. There's a difference, bro. There's a difference. Man. You gotta, when you talk to those guys, they will break it. They will gladly break the difference. I'm like, wait, what's the girlfriend experience? You pay her a bunch of money. She doesn't cook. She doesn't clean, and she doesn't give you any Foxy Brown when you get there. And you have to go, is that the girlfriend experience? Is that what you're paying for, bro? So I really appreciate the conversation, y'all. This was a great one. This was absolutely a great one. Thanks to the chat for keeping it rocking 100. And let's roll in the final thoughts. Brother Hayoka, what are your final thoughts, bro?
I would say that, we all agree that this has been ongoing for centuries. Men with resources have always been valued. King Solomon had what was it, at least 300 wives and maybe 700 concubines. So the trade for resources for sex has always been in play. That being said, I agree with Brother Tarus in the sense of saying that, yes, it would be nice if the first thing that men thought when they were going to other countries would be, let me learn about the culture and things like that. But that reminded me of post-nut clarity in the sense of saying that after you get your needs taken care of, now we can talk. Prior to that, you might be in a different state of mind. So as I pointed out earlier, I think that the only reason why we hear about the situation with the passport bros is because the medium has changed. Before, when I was young, you used the newspaper, and so information didn't flow like it does today. You don't know about stuff that happens in you didn't even know about stuff that happened in other countries unless it was something major. Okay, now we hear about a fire in France or something like that. You see what happened with the earthquake in Turkey. Okay, we were told about it almost instantly when it was happening. That's today. Okay, so anything that happens today is going to be publicized around the world. So when a passport bro, something happens to a passport bro, this has been happening and ongoing for decades. People have been got where they in other countries. let alone here. So that's my take on it. I think that it would be different if this was something new, but it's not. It's just publicized. That's all.
Yep. It's just publicized. So I really appreciate that, bro. Thanks for coming through, man. I saw I missed your call earlier today, man. I was tied up doing some stuff, man. I'll check the voicemail here when I get done. But thank you so much, bro. I appreciate you, man. That's for you. Always coming through, always supporting. And
bro.
Yeah. Well, it's always good to watch you and Brother Charus go back and forth, man. So until next time, bro. We'll talk to you later.
Peace.
Right.
Peace. Brother Charus, what are your final thoughts?
Oh man, hey, I'm not gonna let you escape that teleporting hoods to different geographical locations. We're gonna go down that rabbit hole.
You want to do a show on it?
Man.
The violent. We're talking about the ultimate violent people, the most violent society. We'll do a show on it, bro.
Oh my God. No, man, you're gonna get your show shut down.
We just have to be careful with words we use, but I think we can negotiate those waters, man. I think it's a good conversation.
Yeah, once again, thank you for inviting me onto your panel, man. It's always good to hear from you. You're always breaking my realities, teaching me something new. My thing is that once again, I don't care about a passport bro's reason for why they do something. I am simply responding to the fact that the reason why women are loud or responding the way they are is because passport bros, you guys are going out your way and then you hop on social media. Oh, American women ain't this. American women ain't that. Go down to the domestic level. It's no different than when a black guy gets with an Asian or a white girl or Latino, he's going, oh, black women ain't this, black women ain't that, right? All we did was just scale that up to globally, okay? And so, guys, you got to understand that, like, the message you're saying right now is that despite the fact that you want everybody to know that you're about to go be successful in another country, the women you failed to bag still live rent-free in your head because your number one mission is revenge. Your number one mission is to get back at the Western women who have failed you, robbed you of your glory. There's a reason why, and women, I need y'all to stop being a lot less charitable with some of these dudes. Because there's a reason why they pick these poor, impoverished countries. Drug cartels, war-torn, post-war-torn, red curtain. It's because these guys know that they can go to a situation where these women, literally, the way they make money is selling their bodies. And they know they can be that rich, charming foreigner that these women can look at with the get me the hell up out of here eyes. And it's that savior complex, that need to be a provider or a jailer, right? So women, you guys need to recognize that, because when these dudes are leading with their wallet and all they're saying is how beautiful these women are, think about it. No, just beautiful. I don't actually care about what language you speak. I don't actually care where you come from. I don't care what your background is. I don't care who you want to be in the future. All I care about is that you find guys that's a sex tourist with extra steps. That's my final thoughts.
Bro, I got so much pushback, but I'm not going to do it. We have to do it on another show, but that's for you for coming through and joining us, man. Yo, tell people where they can find you, bro.
Anywhere, bro. I'll pop up.
Yo, man, you can find right here, DL. Right here. DL saying, I really want to know podcast, man. You catch him over there, Black Man Unfiltered, and a little bit of everywhere. I done seen this brother pop up a little bit everywhere, man. Thanks again for coming through, man. Always a pleasure talking to you. You know what I mean? I'm going to holler at you later, man.
Oh, yeah, man. Peace.
Yo. Yeah. Those were some pretty good final thoughts, y'all. I ain't going to lie to you. I'm definitely going to be reacting to what Brother Charus said. I'm going to have to do a whole show just on his final thought. You know what I mean? I got respect for you, bro, but boy, oh boy, we got to talk about that. Let's go through these Let's go through these chats and then we're gonna be done, y'all. Again, thanks for rocking out with me, brother Vikings in the house, man. Y'all know I be a little slow on my buttons over here, bro. You cannot escape female nor male nature, no matter where you go. You cannot hide from the matrix. I hear you, bro. You know what I mean? I tell people all the time, you need to learn both male and female nature. You need to. If you want to maximize your ability to get a significant other that's worth a damn, you need to understand both male and female nature. I agree with you 100%. Brother Hayoka, brother Tyrus, how can you speak to motivation, i.e. revenge of men going overseas? Again, I'm going to do a whole show based on his final thoughts. Relax, brother. Brothers, if you measure success by your ability to go to a third world country and pay for Foxy Brown, you are truly lost. Shake up my damn head. I ain't mad at you, bro. Sister Candace, that was rough. Yeah, wasn't it? Another great show, brother Theo. Thank you, sis. I really appreciate it. And then it was so much interaction in the chat. Thank y'all so much. But the last good man in Jersey had this one point that I wanted to end with. To DL's point, hypergamy drives dating around the world. It works better for men in less developed nations. So why not take advantage of it? And you know what? He has a good point. When you look at it as just a mission, why not take advantage of that? Why not put yourself in a situation where you are in the top 10, 15% of earners? And that's not to say to actually go and pay them for their body. I'm not saying that. But why not put yourself in a situation where women are pursuing you, right? It's like, again, here in America, if you do the work, if you make yourself the best version of yourself, you go out there, you make the money, right? You build your castle, so to speak. It's going to take you a while, but once it's done, women will come. You know what I mean? It's just that easy. There are a lot of women out there who will build with their men. I know some. When they're young, they find the guy that they want. They put their money on that guy and they get together, they marry, and it goes from there. I know one couple who has successfully married for decades and they did it right. You know what I mean? I know one. No divorces, no cheating, raised their family. They have great family, great kids. They've done it all. They won. But that's the only couple that I personally know, just anecdotally speaking. They're in that 50% of marriages that do work, and I put them in the top 2%, 1%. Really, they're 1%ers. 1% of people whose relationships go the distance. You know what I mean? Y'all know who y'all are. Y'all who watch me, y'all know who I'm talking about. Y'all know I'm talking about my people. Jay Swans and Sister Ned. They made it work. I watched them do it. It can be done. Sister Rosalind's in the house. What's good, love? We'll catch the replay. In the meantime, for Charus, brother Cody, bro, who cares? No need to get emotional over a man looking elsewhere for what they want. Less brainwashing in other countries. Higher percentage of women in shape and not overweight. Good point there too, bro. That's, again, go back and watch old TV movies, like live footage of stuff, like old news clips, not clips, but like old news broadcasts and old videos of old band. Like, go watch videos of Woodstock, the original Woodstock. Tell me how many. I'll give you $1 for every obese person you see in the crowd. Go back and look. This whole obesity thing, this is new too. Americans are big. G-complex. Think about this. Go where you are treated best. Could be here in the U.S. or elsewhere. We'll end on that. Absolutely right. I'm glad y'all enjoyed that. This was fun, y'all. This was a good time. Thank y'all so much for coming out, rocking out with me. All my day ones, all my newcomers. We are growing, people. We are absolutely growing. I appreciate that. When y'all see my shorts, please like those shorts. Share them if you can. The algorithm is really pushing those shorts. I'm going to keep making clips, making shorts of the long form stuff that we do. And we're going to continue to get the views, and we're going to continue to grow this channel. And we're going to also grow. We're going to, I haven't been talking politics lately, but we're going to get back to politics as well. I just been taking a break with everything else I was dealing with. I just didn't want to deal with the grim, like what Biden was doing. I think it's this video of the president falling up the stairs again, trying to get on Air Force One. He popped into Ukraine to see what's going over there. And we got Putin talking about, nukes and all that kind of stuff. Or what is he talking about? They're not going to uphold some treaties, some of the nuclear treaties or whatever. I just haven't had the energy to get into it, but I'm about to. So thanks again for rocking out with me, y'all. I really appreciate y'all. Brother Jose W. Stream, appreciate that. Brother Viking, peace to you. Good tidings to everybody. Thank y'all so much. I'm DL Saint. This is the DL Saint I Really Want to Know podcast. Man, I'm going to talk to y'all later. Peace.
Darn, that's the end.